Rosehill Gardens this afternoon. Track officially upgraded to a good three. No surprise there. They tend to leave it one or two races and then up you go. But should be 50. Right for
Just like Superimpose, Rianda Cross and Northerly on the honour roll. Road to Rock goes in. Cincy. Rafaela, the one that misses the start, and Rightfully Yours jumps well, but doesn't want the lead early. And there's Dan Zarlem going out to find the front. And he settles by about a length and a half. Rightfully Yours has to kick up to go to second. On the third placing on the Rafaela as they came up the side now, 700 metres to go. Into this stiff headwind they race. Dan Zarlem just over a length in front, Rightfully Yours, delayed reaction. The Road to Rock commences his move. Bigger now back second last, and last is Rafaela. Swinging towards the home turn now. Dan Zarlem only ahead in front. Rightfully Yours just about level. Rightfully Yours now with the middle takes over the running. Road to Rock joining in. Delayed reaction waits. So too Bigger, who's now niggled along in the straight. Road to Rock on the outside of Rightfully Yours. Delayed reaction trying to battle back. Dan Zarlem's over on the fence. Road to Rock just for the head in front. On the inside of him, Rightfully Yours starting to rally now. Rightfully Yours and Road to Rock. There's not much between these, but Rightfully Yours kicks in a gutsy win from Road to Rock, I'd say. Not much in that delayed reaction. I think he got the third. Raffaello is outside and Bigger slogged away, and Dan Zarlem not beaten all that far would be.
He thought fit enough to win 400 first up. He got it right by about a nose, and he had to fish. We'll go back to Sydney first, though. Rightfully Yours, that's its level, Steve, for mine. Group 2, Group 3, all done to the connections there. Road to Rock, good return in Melbourne. Delay reaction continues to race. Coming up, and great battle lineup here between Set for Fame, Rostover, Irish Lights. They're the key runners on the tote. In the betting ring, 100 metres, the Armanasca, a bit like the Carline Cup, coming back from a mile, is tinkering with the autumn campaigns, but this brings together a terrific lineup. Headed by last year, think gives Set for Fame a chance to take that sit behind.
Yeah, and can be a tricky at the 1400 metres. An absolutely beautiful start. No evidence needed. Ballet Point are the first two to show out, with Ballet Point now running to the lead and Misty Blue settling down in third. There's Umatane coming over fourth. Jigas fifth. Rostover settled down sixth on the outside from Starry Eyed, and then a length and a half Set for Fame. Another length and a half to Irish Lights, followed by a length and a half Starry Eyed. Rostover nicely poised and Set for Fame a length and a half behind her. They're followed by Nakaya, Irish Lights and Linky Dink at the tail. 10 lengths first to last. 600 metres left to go in the Angus Armanasco. Ballet Point 3/4 clear from No Evidence Needed, and Umatane a length away. Misty Point awaiting a run, being followed by Jigas and then Rostover. Here's Set for Fame, Satellite around the outside to make her move, but she's been pushed right off the track. Into the straight now, No Evidence Needed. Went to the slender lead. Jigas coming on down the outside. Wider out Rostover, Set for Fame, and Irish Lights is having the last sweeping run at them now. No Evidence Needed, tackled by Jigas. Set for Fame joining in. Irish Lights wider out. Set for Fame got to Jigas. 50 to go. Set for Fame is set for a win by a neck on the line to Jigas. Probably Irish Lights will get third out wide from No Evidence Needed. Then Nakaya, who's run a good race. Rostover didn't quite finish off. She's followed Ballet.
She's just too good. She's just too versatile, and she sets up a clash now with Denman in the Crown Guineas. Ridden at her normal pattern today. She had to make a long run for Nolan. She handled that. She had the measure of Rostover on the home turn. Irish Lights got onto its, square the ledger for the spring where we're unlucky. For sure. Does that convince you now to take quicker overall time than Denman, but very similar late sectionals in the race. Set for Fame, $2.52. Good. Moody this morning saying 70-30 of running Set for Fame in the Guineas. I think he'll take that option up once he talks to all the connections. And
all time, 122.5, with clearly the best run time-wise of the day by a fair margin in my view. And she was impressive. Irish Lights was solid. I think
absolutely fantastic in the run, but look, she's the real deal too. I know she's had a bleeding attack once before, but this is a very, very good filly. And look,
why would you want to run Set for Fame against Denman? She get lapped and she can run in the CUNY.
I reckon she's a worthy rival.
Bet on get lapped by.
I reckon she's a worthy rival.
She's
second pick and a clear second pick.
Yeah,
she ran a second faster than Denman in that race there.
I don't care. Come on, take him.
He is the favourite for the next race coming up here at Caulfield this afternoon. And this is the Durban, with Durban Great Suits, is $10.
That's affecting Peter Snowden. It's a pretty tough racing, man. That's the reason
Denman's going forward all the time is because he doesn't want to get the horse trapped in. Well,
Right.
Nelly was, remember, first up.
But if jockeys start targeting these horses, they're going to bring themselves undone. One bloke clearly watching this race is Peter Moody, not just for Hanks, but to see how good Denman goes so he can...
Denman, one of the slowest to bounce out. He kicks forward. It's Guru Bob in front now. Denman immediately gets up into second, placing outside of him. Williams kicks forward on Italian Machine. So McAvoy goes to the lead now on Denman. The odds-on favourite takes up the running from Guru Bob, Italian Machine away. So it's Denman, the long odds on at the 800, a length and a half on Guru Bob, 2 Italian Machine, Trouts on the rails. A length and a half to Spacecraft, 1 further back, Exclusive Choice, and then Most Immediate. King Diamond second last and Hanks last on the outside. Denman slowed the speed, coming up the side into the breeze at the 600. A length and a half clear, Guru Bob second. Trouts on the inside of Italian Machine. 2 lengths away, Spacecraft, Exclusive Choice, Most Immediate, Hanks and King Diamond. Denman coming around the home turn. The leader, a length and a half, Guru Bob. Then Italian Machine when they flatten for the run-in. Trouts over on the rails. Spacecraft doing nothing, Most Immediate making ground, but Denman cruising at the 200, opened up 2-3 now on Guru Bob. Most Immediate, Hanks is running on, Trouts battling away, but what a real superstar this 3-year-old is. It's Denman by 3, eased up to Guru Bob and Most Immediate for the Miners. Fourth placing, anything for that. King Diamond, Spacecraft, Hanks out wider. Just behind these to finish in the race then was Trouts, followed in then towards the end of the field. In fact, I think they're about last over the line.
Well, way too good. Denman, $1.20 on Super Tab, $1.24 with the bookies. Only scare, slight one of that was at the start. Quickly put that behind him. Times average, 123.38. If you're back in the day, it's good enough. It's 8/10 slower than just before.
He'll definitely run a mile, this horse. His big advantage is the fact that he gets there and he just relaxes.
Okay, Peter Snowden with Bruce.
Well, another
It suggests to me that Karen McAvoy's virtually given this horse a walk in the park to win today. And people...
In times I've hit the...
Another glorified trial there for Denman. No knock on him. 9 wins from 11 starts, and one punter had 250,000 on him at the $1.25. He won. Guru Bob chased him home all the way. And yeah, that I thought Hanks was good from a long-term point of view, but I don't think we learned anything from that yesterday, Steve, that we didn't already know.
No, Bruce Hanks and King Diamond were both satisfactory first up. Denman 49.3 first 800. It was a track gallop, but he's a magnificent horse, isn't he? We all know that. But I think more importantly, this very economical action. He's got a superb action, limited expenditure of effort. But I suppose we haven't seen him exposed to any real pressure this time.
Well, that's the other thing. I wonder how you'd line him up on favourite falls. I'll tell you what, if he doesn't run Set for Fame in the Guineas, it's going to be a very skinny market, $1.40 and $5. Any update on Manhattan Rain?
Alfie, I think the horse is a superstar. I don't think it matters what he do to him. He just relaxes in races and he just makes those horses look like they're in another class, and they are. But he's, for me, he's the real deal.
Yeah, look, bring on the Guineas. Look, to think that he's $1.35 in the Australian Guineas, that's an embarrassment. This is an all-in market. He could pull up with the temperature or not get there on race day. Anyone that takes that price has got rocks in their head. If Tab Sportsbet want to be serious, they should put a market up with him out of the race.
Look, he's a favourite for the Crown Guineas. St George Stakes, this is the Australian Cup lead-in race. Not a bad one to win by the same token. A Group 2 level. There's your totes on the screen. A very tight Heart of Dreams on the tote, $1.70, $2.60 on course. Clear top pick. Thanks very much. Good to see him back. But a talented lineup of stayers nonetheless. And the one I'm looking forward to...
David is his stablemate, Miss Marin. So, in a pretty good race, Mick Price has got first and second. Clearly, they bet $1.85 about him winning the race yesterday. They might...
They're set. Away now. Heart of Dreams, one of the first to break near the outside. Pacino begins fast. He's up there with Laturio, La Rocket, Sermione, Miss Marin just off them. Heart of Dreams coming over, trying to slot in somewhere, and they're followed then by Moatees. And then came Zagreb, changing of the guard, pushing up between horses, and the cutaway side of the course now, and Pacino rolling along 2.5 to 3 in front. La Rocket second, 2 lengths away, Heart of Dreams, who's outside Sermione. 2.5 Laturio, Miss Marin, and then changing of the guard, a length Zagreb, and then Moatees and Shocking, and last viewed. So Pacino heads up towards the 600 metres, 3 lengths La Rocket, 3 lengths Heart of Dreams. They're followed Sermione, Laturio, Miss Marin the rail, changing of the guard, and then came now Shocking making a move as they sweep towards the home turn. Butte still back last. Pacino coming to the 400 around the turn in front of La Rocket. Heart of Dreams in the clear on the outside, starting to run on well. Then Latorio and Shocking's made up ground, and then Miss Marin. It's La Rocket getting to Pacino, but Heart of Dreams claims the pair of these with 200 metres to go. Heart of Dreams getting up to La Rocket, who's got a bit of a kick, I can tell you. Here comes Miss Marin. La Rocket, this is going to be a big surprise. La Rocket beat Heart of Dreams a long head. Miss Marin third, Latorio 4, and then Zagreb. Shocking in Pacino, a break Sermione and Viewed, and back to the end, changing of the guard, who's second last to go over the line with Moa Teagues.
Well, what does this tell us now about the Australian Cup, La Rocket? The Thighs, Heart of Dreams at the end of 1,800 metres. You'd say Heart of Dreams, 2,000 metre aspirations remain in doubt. Miss Marin, both the Price stablemates had their chance to run La Rocket.
A leader to chase down with La Rocket. He's often been the horse who had to do.
Zagreb.
A big result there for Dale Sutton, the team from Wadham Park, or Woodside Park as they're called. And Stevie Baster gets the Rocket Bottle La Bella Dama home. The La Bella Dama, of course, the McKinnon Stakes winner at Flemington, over 2,000 of the Australian Cup as the favourite. Miss Marin, gee, tempo, I know, related race, but I don't know what you make of these.
Yeah, but the tempo was genuine.
Actually, no. Yeah.
They didn't crawl. I think it was a fairly genuine weight for age race for a change. The winner was too good. Heart of Dreams may well be a miler. I think you probably have to come to that conclusion. Miss Marin is a very good mare, but she's not a great mare. And she's been continually competitive in these middle distance Group 1 races without winning one as yet. I think the bottom line is that none of these horses as middle distance performers are spectacular. And there's no reason why La Rocket.
Australian Cup market after yesterday, and Heart of Dreams are very tenuous favourite for mine, $7. Zipping, Nick Hall, $8.50. Akalim, who didn't run yesterday, $9. Shocking was okay. Speed Gifted, dodged it, preferring Flemington. Well, is the ground going to suit him there? Miss Marin was okay. Daffodil's not going there.
The old stayers got back, and when the acceleration went on, they couldn't accelerate with a horse like La Rocket. Who would have thought La Rocket could carry level weights with Heart of what's his name? Heart of Dreams. Heart of Dreams, and beat him. I mean, Heart of Dreams had a pretty decent run in the race, so he had every opportunity to beat La Rocket and couldn't do it.
You know the most underrated thing in racing? Tactical speed. And it wins you a lot of races. And that horse just stalked the leader there, got in the slipstream, and that was it. The stable's flying, the Dale Sutton stable, and good luck to them. They've pulled...
Wait. Which means we're not far away from the Group 1 Arrowfield Start Blue Diamond Stakes. This is the feature two-year-old race of the season in Victoria, of course. It's been going for 40 years, the Blue Diamond Stakes. It's been run by 25 boys and 15 girls, and this year we've got an even lineup of them. There's the tote call. The market's been pretty much shaped throughout the week since the draw. Beneteau at 320, exactly where it was after the draw. 950 Star Witness, 10 Secession, down to Legalistics, had support at $20 into $18. 11 Crystal Lily, 10 out to 11. We'll get over to Psychologist at $7, Shaik, 9 out to 11, and Willow Creek at $12. Evident favourite Paul Massara and Beneteau comes in from 320 to 310.
Obviously, Star Witness looks for 200 metres. For the first furlong, they'll at least see how the speed's going to play in the race.
I suppose that's what Zara's doing on Psychologist. I mean, he was saying during the week that he doesn't think he needs to just jump and muscle. He can jump, take that time. He thinks the horse can settle, but I think she's going to have to press forward, but not burn at both ends.
Well, the beauty of this start.
Racing. Beneteau jumped fairly well from the middle of the stalls. Away very quickly is General Truce and Spirit Sent from out wider. Crystal Lily got away very quickly, and they're the three leaders settling down. Followed by Shahek getting up on the inside with Bit of a Dude, and then came Beneteau, Sweet Chicks, Psychologist out wide, and Roulette's down on the rail. They're followed by Willow Creek, and further back in the field is Secession. Then She's Got Gears a good way back over on the inside from Star Witness, Legalistic, and Evidentia is last. It's Crystal Lily at the 600 metres, leading by a half. Spirit Sent, General Truce, and Chehek is poised in behind them, followed by Roulettes as they come around the home turn, and then Sweet Cheeks and Psychologist. Then came Beneteau pulling to the outside, about 7 away from the leader. Crystal Lily in front, Shahek bouncing, and then General Truce. They're followed by Roulettes, and then came Psychologist, and She's Got Gears. In the straight, Beneteau's a good way back. It's Crystal Lily in front. But Shahek's the big danger now, and she's raced up at the 200 metres. Then Psychologist, Beneteau, and Star Witness. It's Shahek with 100 metres to go, getting the upper hand. Star Witness, Beneteau. Star This is flying home. This has got the win. What a huge win. Grabbing Shahek on the line. Benito or on the inside, Willow Creek for the minor end of the prize. Then Crystal Lily, Psychologist, Secession, she's got gears. Further back in the field to finish Evidentia. And they were followed then by Legalistic. Bit of a Dude was trailed further back by Roulette's General Truce. Sweet Cheeks back towards the end of the field. And Spirit Set is one of the last to go over. A huge run from Star Witness for Nick Hall to win.
Well, it's a stunning performance here by Star Witness, and Nick Hall gets the Group 1, and Danny O'Brien does it with an outstanding performance. Danny, exciting, isn't it?
It was very exciting. Not much went right. He sort of wobbled on the corner, and the sort of last one they straightened. But we've got a lot of confidence in this colt. He does things that only really top class horses can do. Even when he was sort of so far off him, I knew what sort of furlong he can run at the finish, and fortunately he did it.
It's a very raw.
That he's not your average sort of just 2-year-old that can win a Blue Diamond. We think he's a horse with a lot more scope than that, and hopefully we've got a really exciting colt to race on next season.
He's a Magic Millions horse, and
I really think he's a colt with a huge future, particularly next season. He's well above average.
The temptation, obviously, to go to the slipper?
No, he's not even entered in the slipper. If he runs again...
Nick, take us through it from your end.
Yeah, look, he began okay, and I sort of come up on his neutral. He's a bit aggressive early, as he can be. But when I really hit him in behind him, he let go of the bridle, and then I knew I was sweet from then on in.
Bit of a wobble around the corner as the horses fanned inside you?
Yeah, certainly know they were fanning. I wanted to be out there in the clear, getting at him. But like I said, he was a little bit aggressive when I clicked him up on the bridle, and probably overdid it a little bit. So, when he comes back and relaxes, next time in, he'll be a super horse.
What do you think about Turner?
It's good. It's a good feeling to be winning on 2-year-olds.
All Silent gave you that buzz in the spring, and now you've got him to look forward to in a few weeks, and this horse to give it to you now.
Certainly, the problem is once you get these highs, you can't let go of them, so you just have to keep going.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Good on.
Well done to all involved. A good mare herself, Chinchilla Rose from the family, going around here a bit later on. That horse. Well done to all involved. Almavale Bloodstock.
You got part of this. You've got the celebrations rolling, really. Pinch 500 for the exuberant display going over the line.
Yeah, money well spent.
I would have thought so.
Creek for the minor end of the prize.
Arrowfield clearly hoping to win the race with their own horse, Benito, but they produce the winner by Starcraft, of course, who stands at Arrowfield out of Leon Chiara, of course, a half-2 Ferocity, trained by Danny O'Brien. Nick Hall gets his first Blue Diamond Stakes, beating Shahik, who looked home for Dan Nicklick, going for 3, and Benito into third place. Looked a hectic race there, Nick.
It certainly was. I was back and out of the hustle and bustle, which certainly helped my horse.
Nick, levels of confidence at various points in the race. What were you thinking at the top of the straight?
Yeah, look, concerned when he lost his back wheels around the turn there. But once he balanced up, I was pretty confident after that.
Something pretty, even when you went on All Silence, you were pretty reserved. But this one, you were talking about yesterday, the hectic pressure of a two-year-old race brings that out of you.
Yeah, certainly. They're a bit of an unknown 2-year-olds. And it's just nice to see it all come together. Obviously, it had a lot to do with the horse. Galloping 2 lead-up races, and there's a big build-up around these 2-year-old races. So
50, 70 metres from the line, do you have a...
And I think the high-pressure race, I think the horse half was a little bit nervous. I think Daniel will take huge benefit from that. If Benito pulls up well, Mark, I still think he's a live slipper chance, although it's very hard to go one campaign and another.
Yeah, I would have thought in Sydney, here's the Golden Slipper market, top of it at $7, as I thought. Benito didn't lose any gloss yesterday from a slipper point of view at 8. Military Rose.
Good start for Starcraft as a stallion too. Awesome, certainly awesome.
Danny, it's always easy to get excited about early 2-year-old form, but this horse, geez, he looks the real thing. Look, he only switched him off for about 400 metres there. He still looks a work in progress, this horse. Am I right?
Yeah, I think you're right, Ronnie. He did a lot wrong at Flemington. That's affecting him on the day. But I think the real exciting part about him is that last 200 sectional that he can reel off, and it gives you a lot of hope that he's not just going to be a one-dimensional sort of 2-year-old, and that next year at 3 and hopefully beyond, we've got a really high-class horse.
Yeah, exciting.
The son yesterday, like the horse. The horse looks like his father's son as well. He's a split image of Starcraft. That horse in ability as well. I'm anticipating.
Yeah, well, I hope so. But no, Nick, look, he wouldn't. Before the race, I don't think I've ever seen a cooler jockey win a Group 1. He just came out as relaxed as you like, and he actually gave the instructions to the owners. He said, he just marched in and said, I'm going to be back last on this, and I'll pull to the outside, and I'll just be too good. And then he walked away and got on the horse.
Well, it certainly worked in his favour, didn't it? But gee, I don't think we can sort of be too disappointed with Beneteau too. I thought Daniel may have tried to ride him a little bit too well. He wanted to.
If looking at Beneteau, I thought he let the horse drift when he didn't need to let the horse drift. And I'm not saying that would have made any difference because the winners come from behind him and won anyway. But I was disappointed. I watched it in the run and thought, don't let that horse drift any further.
Just one.
Opens the door now for the Group 1 Sporting Bet, Oakley Plate, and the return of the champ, Weekend Hustler, 7-time Group 1 winner, a year plus off the scene. Bring some boots today, $9.80. At to $13 on the course. Lucky Secret, 5 out to 550. Hitty Angels, 550 out to 6. Eagle Fall, 6 out to 7 for Preble. One of about 10 jockeys in the steward's room right now after the running of the Blue Diamond. Star Spangled Banner, 6.5 out to 7. Wanted, 5.5 out to 6.5. This is tough. Hard to put a line through any of these. Probably one or two.
It's pretty well in a handicap with 58.5. We haven't seen him for more than a year. He did win this race as a 3-year-old. He beat
Year-olds engaged. Midway moving in. Peter Moody gang tackling the race that has tantalised him with 3 or 4 placings. I think 3 runners up. He's up third time. Starter patient racing. Hitty Angels jumped okay. So did Star Spangled Banner. Lucky Secret away well. Avenue out flying and she's overlooking for the lead. Settling down. So it's Avenue, Star Spangled Banner. Getting up on the inside. Grand Jules with Swift Alliance and then Eagle falls out wider. Wanted getting up near the inside from Hitty Angels. Lucky Secret and then came Headway. They're followed by Aranos and then came Weekend Hustler and Grand Sasso and 2 lengths to Ticket. 600 left to go. Avenue by about a neck here to Grand Deals the inside. Poised a length and a half away. Star Spangled Banner. Then Swift Alliance a length and a half to Wanted. Being followed then by Eagle Falls. Lucky Secret. Headway getting up on the inside. And then Hitty Angels and Weekend Hustler. Avenue tackled by Grand Deals. Star Spangled Banner in the straight. Then Swift Alliance, Eagle Falls. Wanted going for a gap and Lucky Secret coming late. Star Spangled Banner leads a charge with Avenue getting up along the inside. Headway flashing home. Eagle Falls starting to swap them now. Aranos pushing through. What's going to win this? They hit the line. Photo between Star Spangled Banner, Aranos and Hitty Angels. I couldn't pick that. That's a ripping finish and Wanted has just off them. Weekend Hustler worked home encouragingly. Followed then by Headway, Avenue, Swift Alliance, Lucky Secret. Eagle Falls wasn't all that far away. Tickets and then Grand Sasso and Greg.
No idea. They're all over. It looks like Star Spangled Banner. Number 6 gets it here. And if you thought there was big scenes after the previous win of Star Witness, see if you can get some of the shots here of these boys. They did it on Caulfield Guineas Day last year. They've done it today. Can you hear that, Shane?
Can hear it, and we can now see it. This is amazing. 2 stars in a row of one. Star Witness and Star Spangled Banner. About 4 million owners in the 2 of them, and the photo had come up. He's won by the best part of a head. Hitty Angels unlucky. Looks like nearly a dead heat for second and third between him and the rank outsider Aranos. But Geelong, he's added another notch to his gun, and that's a great result for everybody involved. Troy Corsten's on hand with Bruce.
We've got to get you out of the scrum there, Troy. That's fantastic watching those people enjoying it. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was fantastic. It was super.
Any pressure going in today after disappointing in the Lightning?
I wasn't really disappointed with his run in the Lightning, Bruce. I thought he did a fantastic job. But coming today with, just the things that have gone on and the dream that it's been, it's great to do this for Coolmore, to do this for our owners. It's great for the industry. It's good for everyone.
So obviously all these people still stay involved this campaign, and then he goes off to the UK.
Yeah, we negotiated that we've got the prize money from the Lightning, the Oakley Plate, the Newmarket. Then he transfers to Aidan O'Brien and continues his journey over in Europe.
It's going to be
sure. He did a terrific job because he's still not there fitness-wise. And I think, probably the last 100 metres he'd had enough too, but his heart and his will got in there. It was a super effort.
Really started to wander a bit. He's obviously blew out on you there.
He did. He has that tendency to want to sort of wander a little bit. But, I mean, fitness-wise, I still think there's another couple of lengths up his sleeve. And he's going to be very competitive in the Newmarket again.
Right. He was right from the outset when he won the Inglis race there on Cox Plate Day a couple of years ago. At 2 years of age, a beautiful-looking Calder Caulfield Guineas winner, now an Oakley Plate winner. There we are. There's Team Course.
Race, who's going to win it? Well, eventually it went the way of Star Spangled Banner, Group 1 Guineas winner in the spring, and now Group 1 Oakley Plate winner in the autumn, and great value for him as a stallion. That's good news for people who've spent a lot of money to buy him, but it was a hectic race, and it went the way of Star Spangled Banner. And here from Wayne from Eltham-Re, the running of the Oakley Plate yesterday. He was wondering if there'd been a change to the rules of racing. Wayne said clearly Star Spangled Banner shifted 5 to 8 horses when not 2 lengths clear of Eagle Falls, who ran fourth. He said, I can understand David Hayes not looking to upset Coolmore by lodging a protest, but why didn't stewards issue their own or lodge their own protest? If Nikolic stops riding Star Spangled Banner and straightens the horse, Eagle Falls is able to plot a course which is rightfully his. He says, lift your game, Mr. Bailey. If the rules are enforced, punters start to, if the rules are only enforced some of the time, punters start to question. Steve, clearly up the straight, you can see Star Spangled Banner shifting ground. Should there have been a question asked?
I think it's a good point that Wayne raises. I think the stewards probably should have lodged an objection and then they should have dismissed it.
I think
but they were entitled.
You know what, Bruce? I got held up just coming around the turn behind a few. Just because they went so quick, I was off a bit for most of the race, and I ended up back in a bit of a pooey spot. But when I got clear, he's just so honest. He gives everything, and that's what he did today. And
well, the champ pulled up lane, Weekend Hustler. So too did Lucky Secret. So too did Avenue. There's the Newmarket Market. We spoke to Nick about all silent trialling, and he's back on track. There he is, Star Spangled Banner at 8, Eagle Falls good at 10, Wanted. There's my race there for him for sure at 14. You've got the WA interest with Haley.
All of them. He was very, very good. You know, he was on the speed. He improved out of his lightning performance. Handicap-wise, he was suited perfectly. There's no question about that. But he rode the speed and battled on very, very well indeed. He did intimidate, without question, Eagle Falls.
Why wasn't there a protest?
Well, I actually thought exactly the same thing, Ron.
Why wasn't there
because,
a protest?
you know, when you sit down and do your form, I would actually be giving Eagle Falls in excess of a length bonus for being intimidated over the concluding stages there. Very, very good indeed. But I tell you what.
Well, maybe he did. I don't know what happened there, but there was definite grounds for a protest.
Okay. Well, I just thought, you know, he's obviously a high-class sprinter. He did get off the track badly, and that probably cost him as much as anything else, Star Spangled Banner. That's got to have cost him, you know, maybe a neck or half a length or something like that, wobbling out like that. So he probably deserved to win. He did it the hard way. The other horses were good behind him, but, you know, I don't think it was the highest-class sprint race I've ever seen. But I tell you what, he's a pretty decent racehorse that can sit on the speed like he did and do what he did.
Rangdu, 235 and favourite. Let's whiz through these runners in the yard. Some big names of racing returning to the track here. And probably none bigger than Cessio. This horse, a multiple Group 1 winner by Dane Wynn. We didn't see him in the spring. He's been big and burly in his gallops. He looks to have tightened up a bit. The Turf Sunline have won the Apollo Stakes.
He goes into the ring. He's a Sporting Bet market mover from the top. Thessio's 15 out to $17. Vision and Powers 31. Roman Emperor $91. Dan Lee $8.50 now. 300 to 1. No Wine, No Song. Ringy Rangdu 240 and Rock Solid. It's your favourite. Rock King O'Lonro $11 into $10. 151 Hadaf Purple 21 to 19. Palacio to Crystal 31 to 21. Sporting Bet
1400. They're racing. Palacio to Crystal and Vision and Power both missed the start. Thesio was one of the best into stride with Adaf and McClintock going up on the outside. Rock Kingdom is driving up in the middle and Rangy Rangdu's not all that far away and there's a bit of speed on early. Lonro just settling on the back of those leaders. 2 lengths to Purple, 2 lengths to Dan Lee. He's trying to press forward from the outside alley to get in. They got him out 3 wide early on. And then Vision and Power followed by Roman Emperor. Alco Poppers back third last from No Wine, No Song and Palacio to Crystal last of all. McClintock strode to the front now, 800 to go. Crossed over and led from Thesio and then came a Duff. Rangy Rangdu is pushing up in the middle and they've got Rock Kingdom left out 3 wide and then came O'Lonro. He's found a nice spot on the back of them in about 6th and then 2 lengths to Vision and Power followed by Purple. Dan Lee's getting his ears scrubbed off and then Roman Emperor. Alco Pops about 12 off the lead. He's starting a run now followed by Palacio to Crystal and No Wine, No Song. A Rangy Rangdu, the favourite first onto the scene to race up and hit the lead and shot to the front from McClintock. He wants to hang in a little bit, Rangy Rangdu, but he's got McClintock's measure at the moment. Then came Dar, followed by Rock Kingdom, and Danley is starting to scorch down the outside. Rangy Rangdu led with 100 metres to go. Danley's got him, I think, on the outside, has he? Danley charging up and won the money. Danley beat Rangy Rangdu, Palacio de Crystal third. Then came Darfin Vision and Power, followed by Roman Emperor. Then McClintock and Thesio from Rock Kingdom, Alco Pop and Purple O'Lonro. And last in was No Wine, No Song.
A corner there for Chris Waller in the Apollo Stakes, the Winning Edge Presentations Classic. Danley beating home the stablemate in Rangy Rangdu. Huey Bowman, the winning rider in the Group 2 race. And just when Rangy Rangdu looked like he might be the winner, Danley has come with a great run. Palacio to Chris. When Rangy Rangdu looked like he might be the winner, Danley has come with a great run. Palacio to Crystal, a great run by the mare. First up to the Villiers winner.
Feature race, Chris. Great effort. Yeah, it certainly was, Richard. In some ways, it's sad that Rangy couldn't just maintain his winning momentum because obviously he's a boom horse, but you can't take anything away from Danley. He's a double Group 1 winner and a very good horse. So obviously with Rangy, we went a bit early and certainly did. It broke the field right up, and I was able to just get a few in front of a few of those stays, which were resuming. And, you know, I thought he's got the job to do on straightening, but they'd obviously gone very hard. And I thought, I won't do anything fancy. I'll just get him out and give him a chance to hit the line. And he got the chocolates for me.
When he got past, more Group 1 racing action coming from Caulfield.
And Power.
It was Apollo 1-2 for Chris Waller there with Danley upstaging Rangy Rangdu. One day I'll get it right. Chris in tipping to the punters, but a great result here, Rich, for Chris Waller.
Yeah, no doubt about that. The story in the paper today, and also what Chris said on TV, and following the race, he blamed himself for the instructions he gave Corey Brown for Rangy Rangdu. The speed they went early, I couldn't believe that Rangy was in front, Mark, the 400.
Yeah, I got back to the last horse and I looked back and I was surprised that he'd gone from about fifth and surged through to challenge McClintock. He obviously got there too early, and because he was punching up in the first 200 or 300 to hold his spot as well, and that leading 4 or 5 were going very fast, which enabled Danley to actually come over from the outside alley and find a beautiful spot. And they virtually put the race on for a back marker, didn't they?
I'm just trying to leave it.
Yes, he's a class act here, Bowman, very much so. And as is the trainer, Chris Waller had first and second there. Danley and Rangy Rangdu and Palacio de Crystal coming from last for third.
Yeah, good win, and he is a class act. He is a class act, Bowman. He's just, he's at the top of his game.
Purple patch,
yeah, he's at the top of his game. He's cool. He's cool. Look, I think Danley was much better suited with a bigger field, a more consistent tempo. They went hard here, and it was set up for a back marker, and this played right into his hands, where Rangy Rangdu was just presented a bit early off the hot speed, and had to, he had to work from the point of the turn home after doing it hard in a tough run race. So
as racehorses only, which one would you take out of the race if they said you could have one?
Oh, look, it's got to be Rangy Rangdu, because he did the donkey work and was just nutted by the horse that ambushed him.
Yep.
Geez, Palacio de Crystal was fantastic there. She was good. Terrific.
She's lifted a few cogs this preparation, on the last one as well, but she's right there with good horses now. I never thought she'd sort of make that leap, but she has. And, I just love Rangy Rangdu's run. I thought he did it tough and he battled on hard, and he lost no admirers yesterday.
Ron, I just want
the Don.
And they're racing. Joy and Fun missed it. Green Birdie gets back in Sacred Kingdom's third last. Ultra Fantasy being tackled in the early part by Regency Dragon. Burton really wants to lead on him, and the pace is a cracker early. Nightline coming across into third from Sunny King, and Happy Zero's next, followed by Sacred Kingdom, pinned away on the inside of One World, and the last two, Joy and Fun and Green Birdie. Down the side, and Regency Dragon, he went quickly early. Steadies the pace now by a length and a half to Ultra Fantasy. Nightline third on the outside of Sunny King. Happy Zero's next, who's got Sacred Kingdom in a pocket on the fence. One World moves up 3 wide now. Then Green Birdie and Joy and Fun's last in the chairman's sprint prize as they turn. And Regency Dragon, first run back from a long layoff, turns the corner clear from Ultra Fantasy. Sunny King into the clear from Nightline. Happy Zero gets going. Sacred Kingdom back to the inside, and One World to the outside's a length off Happy Zero. Regency Dragon the leader, but here's Sacred Kingdom like a shot out of a gun. begun. Speed through the pack and took the race in the bag. Sacred Kingdom clear from Happy Zero and Sunny King, and then Ultra Fantasy. But what a great performance by Sacred Kingdom. In the twinkling of an eye, put the race in the bag of the furlong. Beat Sunny King and Happy Zero. Then Ultra Fantasy, Joy and Fun. Green Birdie, One World couldn't close it off. Then Regency Dragon and Nightline was last in.
Group 2, this is the big one of the night for the fillies. Let's have a look at the betting boards. This is going to be a really good good race, this one. Good contest between a couple of fillies that are back against one. John Singleton joining us. Movers on track. Tallo's out to $4. Tio Rossa $7.50. My Emotion $5. Speedy Natalie's $5. Aswa $13 in from 15. Aloha 5 into $4.80.
Jumps fairly well on the outside. Away quickly on her outside was Aloha, and Aswa begins fast in the early stages and is kicking up on the inside. And now Aloha comes across and is trying to run for the lead, so they put a bit of speed into it early. They're fired up. Aloha going to the lead now on the outside of Aswa as they race past the 1200. 2 lengths away, it's up the rear. 9 lengths cover them up the side, and Aloha is the leader. Just over a length in front of Aswa, New Venture, and Tello fourth. And then My Emotion pocketed on the inside of Speedy Natalie. Tia Rossa second last, and exceptionally nearing the turn they are. Aloha by a length, Aswa, Tello running on. Then came New Venture, My Emotion and Speedy Natalie starting to make ground. Aloha by a length, Tello given full bore on the outside. Aswa dropped off, My Emotion runs on, and so does Speedy Natalie on the outside. Aloha led by a length and a half from Tello, My Emotion, Speedy Natalie coming home. Aloha still in front. Here's My Emotion, starting to whittle it now. She comes home the better, and My Emotion got up to win. 3/4 of a length, either Speedy Natalie or Aloha. They're trailed in by Tello in fourth placing, and then Tia Rossa. Back behind those to finish was New Venture.
Well, Michael Kemp was pretty bullish leading into this race with My Emotion. Craig Williams aboard. And she's just been too good for them. Speedy Natalie finished when they started to quicken down the side, made it a bit tougher.
Yeah, that's right. She was the one who made that pace, made that run here, had her first start.
The Futurity Stakes, Rocky Avenue, of course. Hairdressers here in Melbourne, and comes up with Typhoon Tracy totally dominating the market. You've got Typhoon Tracy on the tote. Look at that, $1.30, $1.50, $1.30, $1.60 here on course. Get coming for Typhoon Tracy in the last 30 seconds or so of betting.
Ollie fans kicking here late on Sniper's Bullet.
Futurity. They're set, they're racing. Typhoon Tracy jumps evenly with the field on the outside. She clicks forward. Lord Tavistock is showing a bit of speed up there. There's a surprise early. Just in behind them, pushing up along the inside now, Joku to run to the lead as they settle down. So it's Joku with Typhoon Tracy sitting on his outside, and they're followed then now. So they come down the side, 800 left to go in the Futurity. Joku 3/4 clear. The hot favourite, Typhoon Tracy second. Barbaricus a length third. Lord Tavistock fourth. They're slowing the tempo down. Sniper's Bullet second last on the inside, and a length to Dow. 600 left to go. Joku by a length. Barbaricus on the inside of Typhoon Tracy. A length and a half, Lord Tavistock. Sniper's Bullet poking up on the inside as they're bunching before the turn, and two to Dow. Barbaricus railing through as joining the leaders. Typhoon Tracy on the outside of Joku. They come around the turn now, and Nolan asked Typhoon Tracy for the big effort. Barbaricus is going with a Dow threads through. He's coming with his run. Typhoon Tracy the leader though. She's nearly a length in front. Sniper's Bullet on the scene down the outside. Dow boxing on. Typhoon Tracy will blow them away in the Futurity and score by 2 lengths. Dow second, Sniper's Bullet third, close fourth, Barbaricus and Lord Tavistock, and Joku dropped out to last.
Oh, she's one tough girl. She looked down for the count at certain stages. Peter Moody's right. The tougher the battle, the better she fights. She dropped the bit coming to the corner. She looked to wobble around the corner, and she's made it look easy on the line. She's fantastic. Well done, Dow. Runs to second. Sniper's Bullet runs to the line.
Well, she's nearly run a course record here, 134.43 as opposed to 134.28. Peter Moody, winning trainer with Bruce.
Well, Pete, another Group 1 for her, another win for her. And you keep telling us that the better the tougher the fight, the better she is, and she had to prove that today.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's she's all racehorse, and when she's made work, it produces her best. I suppose she's like a lot of good athletes. When they can back off and look after themselves, they do it, and when they need to extend, they also do it. was watching her. She looked at, well, I genuinely thought that was the best field, lot of horses she'd won. It wasn't the biggest field, but I think class-wise it was probably the best lot. So for her to do that tells me she's improved, and we'll enjoy the ride.
Well, where will the ride take us to, Pete?
She is. She's a treat to have sort of anything to do with, and you've only got to look at her in the yard now. Her attitude. She soaks it up a bit, but she knows she's the king mum at home, and she gets her way. But it's most of the way for age horses around here covered, you know.
Well, actually, won her 9th from 12 starts against quality opposition Group 1 performers in Dow and Sniper's Bullet. She puts time on the board. She overcomes flat spots, Steve. She is a beauty.
She's unbeatable up to this distance. You'd think, Bruce, at the moment, in this country at least, near record time yesterday. And I think it was her career best performance. Almost shades of Northerly when she dropped the bit for a stride or two. Coming to the turn, responded well. Dow Sniper's Bullet satisfactory, and Barbaricus probably wasn't too bad for an Australian Cup point of view next week.
I would have thought so. Rich, these updated time form figures as well. 4-year-olds, Heart of Dreams 127 with Who Begotcha, Micmac 126, we'll see in Sydney. Bradley Price 126, Nakoni and Typhoon Tracy 124. On what we're seeing right now, she's got them all covered.
Oh, no doubt. Current international rating of 118, which is entitled to probably go up around the 120 mark after yesterday's performance. And I think she would probably win that race in Hong Kong. But I guess those races that Peter's touched on in Sydney are almost out of her mercy. I think she could go
on Typhoon Tracy with Brett.
Yeah, no, you've got to be in great admiration of her.
Yeah.
She's a fantastic mare, and she just keeps crushing good fields of horses, and now she's skinned it all.
3 successive Group 1s. Now, if you'd like to give up on the inside, but I'm taking nothing away from the great mare. She is absolutely fantastic, and even Sniper.
Absolutely outstanding mare, as you say. I can't give her enough credit. Like Joku poured the pressure on there at the 6 or 7 at the 700 metre mark. She had to chase him down and then keep going after hitting a flat spot. And they're within 2.28 of the course record there. She is a ripper.
I thought that those two horses that ran second and third, which are bloody good horses, Dow and Sniper's Bullet, it got put on for them to beat her yesterday, and they couldn't get within 3 lengths of her in the end. I mean, she's just in a class of her own. I can't see any weight for age horses beating her up to 2,000 metres. 2,000 metres might be different. I don't know.
Yeah.
As she gets older, she might be able to handle 2,000 metres as well.
Yeah. The question has to be asked: has she already peaked? Like, she's got to the mile very quickly there, and like I say, she's only had the 2 runs back, but she's hit a high level already, and she's had what looked to be a bit of a gut buster there yesterday, and whatever. Well, look, she's within 0.2 of a course record, and she had to chase from a long way out there. I love her character.
Well, all the ones that were chasing her were gut busted even worse.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Last race, won't be running in the last. Skinny quaddy so far. Of course, that is Velocity in the Typhoon Tracy. It opens up perhaps a bit more here with Extra Zero, Take the Rap, and Salinas heading the market. On course, it's $4.20 the 1, $4 the 2, and $5.50 the 8. When you're
His favourite, Take the Rap at $4. Cosmocrat, and a pretty good start too. Cosmocrat immediately snagged from his outside barrier. And Take the Rap, one of the first to show down on the inside with Absolute Faith. Salinas is up there, and Looped is wider out too. Just in behind them, Viking Hero, Money Rocks, Chilled by Choice, and then Pins on Ice. Extra Zero went. Money Rocks doing some work 3 wide. Kicks up now to get a little more prominent. 2 lengths further back, Chilled by Choice, and the white colours over on the inside. Viking Hero is around him, and then 2 lengths further back, Pins on Ice, Cosmocrat. The length and a half away is Extra Zero. Now Money Rock speeds to the lead, so it's been genuinely run. And up the side, she leads by about a length to Looped, and Salinas a length and a half away. Now gets a nice trail third. A length away, Take the Rap, who's been beautifully poised all of the way. Viking Hero flushed out wider. Absolute Faith next over on the inside, getting shuffled back a little bit here as they jam up in front and slow the tempo right down. Pins on Ice from the back, whipped right around the field and actually hits the lead. Extra Zero's a good way back and pulled out 4 wide from Cosmocrat. Now 500 left to go, and a change came over it where Pins on Ice Looped. And now kicking back, Money Rocks lead Viking Hero. Salinas Take the Rap between horses. Extra Zero starting to come around them. The rest were headed by Cosmocrat. Been a messily run sort of race in the middle stages. And Pins on Ice, who was on a long run, took the lead from Money Rocks the inside. Looped Viking Hero. Here's Extra Zero. He's starting to swoop on them down the outside. Money Rocks just in front. Extra Zero Take the Rap is pushing through. Absolute Faith from nowhere. Absolute Faith after Extra Zero. Extra Zero, Absolute Faith. They hit the line. Extra Zero just beat Absolute Faith. Photo third, Cosmocrat. Oh, Money Rocks on the inside. From Take the Rap, Salinas, Viking Hero.
Well, Extra Zero's won. That's the messiest race I've seen for a long time. It was a battlefield throughout. The straight was horrible. Oh, you've got to watch this a few times to sort it out. All I know is number one's in the frame.
The race was horrible. Extra Zero at the blinkers on. We'll talk to David Hayes shortly. Absolute Faith in the fillies. Money Rocks. Unfortunately for Money Rocks, she fractured a leg and had to be destroyed after the race. Cosmocrat was fantastic. It gave Oliver a horrible ride. It was just a horrible race. Jockeys playing jockeys out there, Steve. At mid-race, they went from running 11s to 18s and they all just backed up on each other.
Yeah, they certainly did. And interesting, despite that muddling pace, the winner and the runner-up have come from near last. The filly Absolute Faith was terrific after getting shuffled back. And I think it's interesting there, that she tracked through along the fence. The jockeys were looking for better ground to me that wasn't there yesterday. The track race, fantastic.
Best horse won. The best horse won. It was a slowly run race, and he rounded him up. I think he fits in really well in this Australian Cup. I want to back a 3-year-old in the Australian Cup,
Really?
and I reckon
Why?
he's the one. What do you mean, why? You have a look at the opposition that he's going to be against. They're just going through the motions at the moment. This is a 3-year-old that'll get in well at the weights. I think it's a 3-year-old. I reckon he's a 3-year-old that fits in well.
I don't necessarily agree with you there. I think those tough old horses at 2,000 metres, older horses, they're very hard to beat for 3-year-olds. I reckon you need to be a star.
I reckon he fits in well this year. We'll see.
Run for Wilson, $26 into title, $9.50 solid. Corvaday, $41. Chance by $175 into $165. Zutara at $15. Amber's Waltz out to $11. Seven's out. Mafia Miss at $16. Miss Shiraz at $81. Divorce's second favourite, $7. And Call for Day, 41 to 61. Number 4, Chance by 175 into 165. Back to 170 now. Zutara, 16 into $14. Amber's Waltz, 12, 13, 12. Georgette 6 out. Mafia Miss, 15 out to 17. Miss Shiraz, 61 to $81. Divorces, it's the one that's been well supported. $7 rock solid, but there was a bit more better on market mover, Caroline. Number 4, the one that everyone's cheering, Chance by Kathy O'Hara for Michael Tubman. She's the one they all want to talk about, and she's the big, heavily backed, according to Brad Smythe at Sport.
Divorces missed the start. The favourite began brilliantly. Chance by. She's going to come out of the stalls quickly and take the early lead. Going up on the outside, Military Blonde showing plenty of speed goes to second from Corvaday and into title. 3 or 4 lengths to Miss Shiraz as the field starts to break up, followed by Amber's Waltz, Run for Wilson, Mafia Miss Zutara, and 2 to Divorces at the back last of all. Chance by the leader as they come out of the chute. Led by 3/4, Military Blonde into title, third, Corvaday fourth. Still a gap to the next group, about 3 lengths behind them, Miss Shiraz and Amber's Waltz. Then Mafia Miss, Run for Wilson, Zutara, and Divorces last about 12 off the lead. Kathy goes for Chance by as they come around the turn, and it skipped away and led by about 2 or 3 lengths on Military Blonde and Corvaday. Then came into title, Amber's Waltz is winding up down the outside, and then came Miss Shiraz. The leader is Chance by, still about 2 or 3 lengths in front. Amber's Waltz is starting to come after it down the outside. Chance by led with 100 metres to go, still over a length in front, and the Dream is still alive. Chance by beat Amber's Waltz. Zutara flashed down the outside, and I think it may have just got third in front of Divorces, both third and fourth hitting the line well. Then came Miss Shiraz, followed by Into Title.
$130,000 worth of non-restricted prize money for Chance By will get her into the Golden Slipper, taking out the Silver Slipper Stakes, the $15,000 bargain buy for Michael Tubman and Kathy O'Hara. She showed great speed coming job with her. 3 from 3 now. $1,000 bargain buy for Michael Tubman and Kathy O'Hara. She showed great speed coming job with her. 3 from 3 now. She is unbeaten. She won the Inglis Nursery at Randwick in December. She came out, won the Inglis 1.5 lengths. The margins by 3/4 of lengths. 104.28 the time, 34.18 the final 600. There are the English
coming through now. What about that, big fella? What about that?
I don't know about big fella. Went all right, didn't she?
Oh, she did. For a week, you've said for the last few months that she's just getting better.
She is. And she's short of a run today too, you know.
She was short of a run and she just bounced.
But yeah, and she's obviously an exciting type of filly, but what about the job Mick's doing with her? It's no fluke. The first time he said she was a good thing, and it's not easy to keep a 2-year-old as long as he has. Like, even though she's only had the 3 starts, it's been 5 weeks between every run, and it's not easy. And he's got it down to a T.
That's
Well, 3 for 3 for the $15,000 buy. And now she qualifies for the Golden Slipper, but she's going to have to do some more history creation here to win because the Silver Slipper winner has never won the Golden Slipper. Victory Vane Accelerator and Hasner have come off placings in the race to go on and win it, Kathy, but why couldn't she do it?
Oh no, exactly. She's still got improvement in it. After yesterday, she was a bit soft. Probably the softest she's gone into a race yesterday. So she's got miles of improvement in her. Mick will have a right.
Did it surprise you, Kathy, after the race yesterday? Honestly, it looked like
Carldale, Steve.
It's interesting. The breeder, of course, John Cornish, was at Caulfield yesterday, and one that got away, John, he said, well, as a yearling, she had legs coming out of her ears. No one could possibly have wanted her.
Well, Mick did, and good on him, $15,000. Creates a different angle going into these big races. There's the market. She's $9 with Sporting Bet. Solar charged. We'll see next week. Beneteau, will there be a jockey change?
There was an absolute ripper run in that race. There was an absolute...
Zutara?
Yeah, Zutara, the third filly, right down the outside. She was absolutely outstanding. I don't know whether the timing's right for her, but she's way above average.
Will she get into a slipper without winning or?
Oh no! Well, she's got to probably run in the lead up, and if she's good enough, she'll qualify if she's good enough.
Yeah, she'll have to win to qualify. Is that?
I would say so. I would say so.
Close.
And Divorces was also very good there. She's more of a mile type.
Here at Rosehill Gardens, coming up very shortly for you, it is the Schweppes Hobartville Stakes, the Group 2 for the 3-year-olds. And Manhattan Rain at this stage, well, he messed up the start in the Royal Sovereign, but punters have forgiven him. He's even money on the tote, $2.80 on course. Richard?
Yeah, clear favourite, $2.60 out to $2.80. Number 2, Kidnap. Captain Sonador, $61. Number 10, Monton, $31. 11. Already had one feature with Chance Buy. This is now the second feature. The Schweppes Hobartville Stakes. 3.10 to 2.70 Manhattan Rain. Hidden Edge and Delago Bolt 26 into 21. Gathering 100 to 1. Number 8 Saint Costa 200 to 1. Captain Sonador 61 back into 41. Monton 31. Sir Hallowell 13 into 11. The West Aussie.
Range Rider is out of the saddle here. And they've backed him out, Manhattan Rain. Vet station there. He's back in there. Ready to go. Racing. He's jumped okay, Manhattan Rain. In fact, he was probably the best out today, and he shares the lead with Gathering shortly after the start. Well, he's showing plenty of speed. There's a bit of a surprise. Manhattan Rain second, and More Than Great is hurtling across the face of the field to take up the running. Then came Monton, Viking Legend, Sir Hallowell, followed by Indian Ocean back on the inside from Shootout and White. More Than Great at the 800, led by over a length. Gathering is running second. He's popped off the inside. Then came Monton, Manhattan Rain, the favourite, running fourth. The Viking Legend, the stablemate behind him. Indian Ocean on the rail from Sir Hallowell. Dragons Keep out wide. Kidnap being pushed along on the fence. Shootout's a long way back. And then Captain Sonador, Delago Bold and Saint Costa last. It's More Than Great bringing the home in the Schweppes Hobartville. In advance of Gathering, Manhattan Rain taken to the outside. And then came Monton, Indian Ocean, Viking Legend. It's More Than Great, the leader at the 300. Manhattan Rain is trying to chase him down in the centre. Monton is coming through as they run down with about 250 to go. It's Monton and Manhattan Rain settling down to fight it out. Monton sprinted to the lead. Shootout's coming down the outside, but Monton won it. Shootout second. It's a big photo for third. Captain Sonador out wide. Sir Hallowell, Manhattan Rain, who was tiring in Indian Ocean. Then Vikings last of all.
Monton, the gelding by Catbird for Tim Martin. Jay Ford has taken out the Hobartville Stakes for 2010. Well, Manhattan Rain, he jumped. He had every possible chance. There he is, just fading back. I think he's finished out of the placings. Number 3, Shootout, with a good run coming into second placing. Monton on course, home nicely too, and Captain Sonador. Really good run from this horse. He's always a back marker. He made up a ton of ground getting into third placing, the son of Shamadal. Monton, $30.60 and $5.80. The Inglis interim. Shootout 2.
Oh, sure, he was in the fast lane, but he ran away from Manhattan Rain in good style. The horse that cost $80,000 at the Easter 2 sales last year, $31. Thanks very much. $60 for the owners, Dave Lamond and Co. Well under them. Shootout fantastic. Captain Sonador good. Manhattan Rain playing. It's going to come down for the Guineas next week, apparently.
Abysmal. 2 runs this time in, as it hasn't found the line either time.
Let's concentrate on your horse, though, Tim. And
when last Saturday's race was quite light on noms, he was a late nomination, and I was keen to run him. And he had a touch of colic on the Thursday, and when we treated him, he couldn't run. So got the blessing.
A little bit of a surprise packet yesterday, the big odds. I know you told the owners that you think you'd run a race.
I always thought you run a place. Obviously, I've been reading the press a lot with Manhattan Rain, and I thought
He didn't fall in there.
Thought he'd win the race, and I thought I'll run second. And the way the track was playing going into the race, and I backed Monton and I backed Manhattan Rain. Yeah.
Jay Ford, the rider, was. What about shootout? I thought Marquis' run was outstanding. Of course, he won last time in the attempt to finish the Royal Sovereign. I think he's the horse to beat. No disrespect to him, going forward, Rhea McGuinness, Rosehill.
Yeah, you'd think Ramon could suit him. He paraded really well. He looked great going into the race, and he can handle wet or dry. So whatever happens weather-wise doesn't really matter to him either.
What about your fillies, myself? Had a great day.
Spreading the chances of that yesterday on KY.
Yeah, look, I thought he was over the odds, and he got the money. That was good, but he got all the breaks and the conditions to suit on the day. He drew barrier one. The fence was on fire. On the speed was an advantage, and look, he had a fitness edge on a few runners there and poked his head out at the right time. Look, he's a nice horse, and look, I don't know whether he can go on and be competitive in all the big, the Randwick Guineas and whatever, but he's heading in the right direction. There was a couple of ripper runs behind him. Shoot
That
out.
was another great run.
Oh. Yeah, look,
It was a beauty.
He's coming down the wrong part of the track here. He may be a Doncaster horse shootout the way he's going at the moment. Captain Sonnet or the other Queenslander, well, he's put two big runs together now, and the horse that really caught my eye was that Western Australian, Sir Hallowell.
Yeah, ran well too.
He's only a lightly raced horse, having his fourth start, and he's second up there, and he's had a long trip. There's only one way for him to big improver.
Favourite, Manhattan Rain. Missed the place. I've got a question mark over his attitude at the moment, Manhattan Rain. It's behind.
Could miss a place at the 100 metres there. He's fighting it out, the finish out, and he didn't hit the line at all, which is not a good sign going. Well, they're saying, Gay's saying that he's looking for ground, looking for the mile. That run doesn't suggest to me that he's looking for ground. I know he was placed in a Cox Plate. This horse has been the big spruik horse, obviously, with the pedigree that he's got. And he's turned into a $40 million colt. He's worth about a couple of million now. I don't know, but the more he runs, the less the more his value is diminishing.
Of these yesterday would be backing up, going back to the mile next week. Great news at Linton brings some depth into it. You would think you got extra zero there at $14, but we're thinking Australian Cup, and so is David Hayes. Winks rode the horse yesterday. He rides Master O'Reilly in the Australian Cup next week. Heart of Dreams, 2,000 metres, $7 favourite, zipping $7.50. Shocking our Ackline. Are we ever going to see speed gifted racing? What do you make of it, Steve?
Well, I certainly don't want to have anything to do with Heart of Dreams being favourite for the Australian Cup. I think that's bizarre. I think after yesterday I'd be entertaining Barbaricus to some degree. La Rocket.
Saturday, let's have a look at the market for it. I think we're going to get almost a capacity field. This will be great to watch down the straight. Like the old days, the Charge of the Lot Brigade, all silent. We saw him amble around on Wednesday at Betfair Park in a gallop. He's not much of a track worker. He's a fine galloper. Star Spangled Banner, his last start here. Eagle Falls.
Well, the tote stifled here by Willow Creek, as you can see, $1.90, $1.80, $2.10. Peter Moody going for his first win in the race with Willow Creek off the row. Heading up to Sydney, wins at $9. Flops there, rarefied. Common interest, and there's two races done and dusted here on Super Saturday. Track hasn't been upgraded at this stage. We're still on a dead five, aren't we, Shane?
Yeah, we're restrained and going through. In Faith finds the lead ahead of her, settling down, and they're followed Ebony Rock. Shamrock are out very wide. Just off the leading bunch of horses, then the Great and the Good, and they're followed by Lucky I'm Barefoot getting up on the rails. 2 lengths further back in the field is Yosei, and they're being followed by Backgammon second last. And Echoes of Heaven's about 3 lengths away, maybe a little more. 900 left to go. In Faith has the lead. 3/4 clear. The favourite up there second, Willow Creek, a length and a half away. Shamrock are doing it tough 3 wide around Ebony Rock, and Lucky I'm attack on, but is under pressure to stay with them. Well, In Faith is coming around the home turn. These two favourites have had pretty easy runs up on the speed. Willow Creek second on the outside, and then came Ebony Rock. Shamrock is still there despite a hard run. They've left the fence, and Yosei is coming through on the inside. Shamrock are still there, but Willow Creek hits the lead at the 300 metres. It's Willow Creek in front. Shamrock are running a big one. Ebony Rock is still there, and Yosei's on the rail. It's now Shamrock are coming out after Willow Creek. Shamrock or Willow Creek from Yosei. Shamrock and Willow Creek. Shamrock did the best, and Shamrock are along hit Willow Creek. Yosei held third the inside. Backgammon made good ground late in the piece, and then came Ebony Rock. Echoes of Heaven. They're in company with Lucky I'm Barefoot.
All honours here totally with the winner, Shamrocker, at big odds on the tote. sat 3 wide, working the entire circle of the track, and outstays Willow Creek, who
Victor has paid $684. Huge running double there, 70 to 9.
All honours to the O'Reilly filly, who cost 65,000 in New Zealand at the sales. They had no excuses for getting beaten, especially the favourite Willow Creek. There was an excuse for In Faith. Pulled up with an elevated respiratory rate. I'm not sure if you have a bad, hard run, you're going to.
The winner was terrific. Only third start. Fillies trifecta the races you touched on yesterday for the first time since 1976. And we are seeing that, the Blue Diamond form is terrific. Shahek, Crystal Lily, Willow Creek running well there. So Shamrocker to sit deep and beat her, I think you have to take that at face value. And I'm still not dropping off Echoes of Heaven for Mick Price. I think he'll still be a nice horse in the making.
Yeah, he's going to be a 3-year-old though. He's got no early speed, doesn't know what he's...
Very, very strong. And this Blue Diamond form is looking as strong as I've seen a Blue Diamond for years and years.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it very hard to line. It all looks good in Victoria. I'm just finding it hard to line up against the New South Wales form, as you do every year. Shamrocker is a very nice filly. I think it's got some scope to really go on. Could be a lovely 3-year-old too, because it's got the right sort of action and everything. But I'm just not sure that some of those horses, when you get a Blue Diamond that's won by a horse that stands them up like 8 at the top of the turn and runs them all down, I'm just wondering how strong the rest of them really
we'll
are.
find out next Saturday with Beneteau. We'll find out with Beneteau next week.
There's a market for the next race here. This is the CUNY Stakes, of course, now run at, at 1,400 metres. Many years run at the mile trip, but now run in Gigas for Gay Waterhouse at $10. So the fact that he's favourite today. What about the old champ taking over Target? Many around looking at him.
There's a lot of people around, and we had to.
Here's Greg Miles.
The Oaks and Wakefield winner is ready. Here's Trim coming up. Trim still just favourite on course ahead of Irish Lights. If they go. Jargus a little slow down on the inside. Trim begins fast. Response eases back. Faint Perfume goes back second last. Rostova's up there. Baby Corner's up there. Good battle for the early lead here, being won at the moment by Baby Corner, ahead of Jargus, who's recovered after a slow beginning, and Rostova posied right on the speed third the outside. Prim is 2 lengths away, fairly awkwardly placed as they approach the turn, and then Response and Faint Perfume last of all. Baby Corn from the outside barrier had crossed over and had the lead coming before the home turn. Rostova is up second. Jargus right behind the leader is third. Prim is fourth, and no evidence needed has been on a wide run. They're followed by Europa Point about midfield. Fomelites on the rail, Response out deeper. Irish Lights shuffled out to last, and Faint Perfume is just ahead of her in the straight now. Baby Corn from Rostova, and then Trim, who's called on for her run. Jargus trying to find a way clear. Wider, no evidence needed, and Irish Lights playing for luck is getting up on the inside. No evidence needed, went to the lead. Faint Perfume and Response are coming. Trim got through. Irish Lights is getting up on the inside. Don't know where to look here. No evidence needed. Irish Lights right through. Faint Perfume out wider. Faint Perfume's getting home the best. Faint Perfume wins first up from either Response, who's out wide. Irish Lights on the fence. No evidence needed, and Trim. They're all up there for a place from Gygas. Then Rostova, Europa Point. Baby Corn weakens to second.
The Oaks winner back in brilliant form. They've led some big bets. $12 into $5.50. Faint Perfume. Too strong, Shane.
Yes, he is. Bart Cummings is right here alongside you. Bruce, why don't you have a chat to him right now?
Congratulations. Great to see a good filly come back as well as she has. Didn't that surprise you anyway?
I know the Oaks winners can win this if they're the class as she's proven to be, and we're quite happy with it. And
unsuspecting bookmakers who bet $12 and $9 about the Oaks winner and the Bart Cummings stable. When he comes to these weekends, he is a great trainer of these girls. He loves this carnival. We always talk about Bart.
She made them look second rate. They might be compared to her. Response was excellent, but she's the star of the show. She could take on the boys in the Derby in Sydney, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so, Bruce. Far too good there. Home in 33.6. Very impressive. I can't remember a first-up winner of this race, and there certainly hasn't been one in the last 10 years. We've seen Oaks winners like Special Harmony and Northwood Plume win it.
It used to be a mile, though. This is the first time it's gone back to 1,400.
But with a run or two under their belt. But just a terrific performance, and she probably is better than them. And as you touched on yesterday, I suppose it was ironic or quirky that the Oaks runner-up Valdemoro won her maiden the day before.
At Sale.
And Michael Rod loved that. Well,
Response was a good race on paper. The bunch finish just puts you off a little, but she's a good filly. It's good to see her back. She was the biggest street corner tip of all time for the past few days. Obviously, I didn't listen. I should have, but should have. But good filly. Can't wait to see her back in Sydney. She's not big, and size might go against her. And we've got a couple of smokies leading into the Sydney Oaks here in New South Wales. So I'm looking forward to the challenge that she's got ahead of her.
It's a bit of but back. The weather's turned. That forecast is pretty much spot on for the turn. It's dropped quite a lot in temperature, and is Denman. That was unbeaten here at Flemington. Here he comes with Neil Beck. His strap up. The blinkers are on today. That's the main thing. The blinkers are on, because if he doesn't wear them, he's no good. There's the totes. Just quickly fit for these. Everyone's seen the prices for 3 days. We want to see the horses in the yard. Starting with All Silent Shane, and the blinkers are on.
Yeah, well, that's obviously the key, because you were there and watched him work, and here is King Pulse, who was 13 into 12. Now, that's after he was crunched yesterday late, and then again big time this morning at odds of up to $26. So our sporting bet market mover here at a really good price is King Pulse. And
I'll get a bigger chair than take over target and just walk straight back into the mounting yard here.
And Brad just did the star leap off him.
Yeah, well done to them. There's some serious lightning over the Footscray side of the track here, Shane, which is 8 too far away.
This race is going to be run in the nick of time as they start to load the gates well.
And they've got to be serious about what we're going to do after this, because we've seen in Sydney with lightning, they do put the races back. And we started early today.
A huge thunderstorm descending. Shell scrape ready. All set. Off they go. All Silent jumps well. So did McConey and Shell Scrape, and Grand Sasso went in for a trail in the early part. Star Spangled Banner in the middle of the line began very fast, and Eagle Falls seemed to jump away well, and Wanted is up there in the early part also. Settling down, and it's Wanted, who's coming up the middle of the course with the lead after going about 300 metres. He leads from Star Spangled Banner. Just in behind them, King Pulse is handily poised, and they're followed by Dewporth a little bit wider out. Just behind those horses then is Headway, not too far away. Shell Scrape is plotting a course virtually up the middle of the course on its lonesome. Back behind them is Light Fantastic, and they're being followed by Aranos, 5-car stud. Well back in the field is All Silent. He's back towards the tail, and Grand Sasso is pulled to the outside. Cannonball was back there last. 300 metres to go. Star Spangled Banner raced up to Wanted. Eagle Falls is joining in, and then came King Pulse, and further back was Headway, and then Dewporth and Aranos. Wanted kicking on strongly. Star Spangled Banner can't go on. Eagle Falls is coming home strongly now. It's Wanted being tackled by Eagle Falls. Wanted by 3/4, holding on from Eagle Falls. In front, and Wanted won the new market. Eagle Falls second. Star Spangled Banner for third ahead of King Pulse. Just behind those was Turf on Drain. Followed in by behind these to finish in the race was Toll Spree, Dewporth, Headway, Aranos, and not too far away was Trusting. Further back in the field was Nakoni, Never a Chance, nor Light Fantastic. Grand Sasso. All Silent didn't come on. Tickets and El Segundo are well back in the field. Cannonball is one of the last over, and Shell Scrape was well back too.
He wanted a Group 1. He got a Group 1. There was no pressure from back today. Wanted in the right spot after 4 Group 1 seconds. A valuable result here for him, and Widden started to report into him in very gloomy conditions here, but he gets it. It was a strange race to watch, an eerie race to watch, but Peter Moody and Wanted, we're going to catch up with Pete, and straight after the win of Wanted, a very special win for you, Pete. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, it's frustrating to be an understatement, but thanks for Eddie and the team in Sydney having faith in me and the horse, and terrific ride by Luke. He nursed him and carried him for as far as he could, and he was well overdue, and he's a damn good colt and deserves a Group 1 on his resume.
And you've just had him and the team to get a Group 1, and a very important one for him and for his future.
Well, he's an exceptionally well-bred horse. There's probably no better performed or no more consistent sprinter in the land, and he really deserved the Group 1. So, very happy.
Is there something next now?
Well, this is the day we wanted. We're unlucky. Well, we weren't unlucky in the Lightning. We were beaten by a freakish performance, and we were probably a tad greedy running in the 2 in between, but thankfully he's bounced back for us today.
Great job, Pete. Well done.
Thanks, Bruce.
Peter Widden stud buying into the horse at the right time. He gets his Group 1. don't think it's too much to overanalyse here. They basically kept their spots from the top of the straight to finish.
One thing I like he might win, and Bruce, who looked like he might win, and Bruce, I've never seen a crowd scatter like this.
Well, this is very, very nasty conditions here, Sammy. Wind's blowing sideways now. It's black. Sort of like Armageddon's about to hit us here.
Not doing bad, Bruce. Well, like 45 minutes ago here, Sammy, it was a clear blue sky. The sun was shining. It is now black as the ace of spades.
It's went up.
And it is absolutely pouring, even though it's blowing. These are really poor conditions. Lukey's not worried.
We'll get a chat to him now. Luke Nolan about to weigh in after the Group 1 Newmarket Handicap. And here we go with Luke. Making sure all is all involved with Peter Moody in the stable.
Yeah, like a Murphy Lodge, everyone involved there, for Jeff, Tony, and all the other foremen. Prop me and Pete up. They look pretty good, on race day, and probably got to give Large a bit of a rap. He picked him for me, so it was going to be his fight if he didn't win.
Looks very scary conditions out there now, Luke.
I'd sooner be here than out there.
Well done. That's the bloke they call Large. Well done, Luke.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Lukey, Nolan and Large and Shane, this is...
And let's see those shots. The race day live, and let's see those shots. That is Flemington. Let's see those shots. Saw those shots of the big hailstorm before the Crown Guineas. Well, they won't be racing on that. I think there's going to be quite a delay. We've heard certain vehicles being hit by lightning out there, and there are the patrons taking cover whichever way they can. Don't forget that bottle of champers. That's the most important thing. Look at that weather down there in Melbourne. That is like snow. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back and talk to Bruce Clark to find out just how long this delay is going to be at Flemington. Quite amazing scenes.
Dale, extraordinary what's transpired in the last 15, 20 minutes here.
That's when you think you've seen everything on a race course. I've seen something else now. Certainly Bailey about 5, 6 minutes ago. Look, I think we've just got to assess obviously where things are at in terms of the track, but I understand there's another van coming through, which could mean further delays, but the track will handle the rain. It's just there's so much ice, I suspect, on the surface at the moment from all that hail that have to be looked at as well.
The issues like getting them
onto that program.
Look, I was here for the 76 Melbourne Cup, the famous Vanderham year, and this was worse because hailstones at one stage the size of golf balls, and really this is the most amazing storm I've seen in Melbourne probably in my lifetime.
Well,
that means that I don't think we've got any chance of racing again here today.
Well, that's dangerous. It's like skating on the ice, isn't it?
Well, there's no way they'll race while that's happening. So the first thing that has to do is...
And Terry, well, obviously, we're off.
It's good Queensland weather, isn't it?
Yes, well, as well. Postpone the 2 Group 1s till next week.
I think that'll be the case. The VRC are just going to have some think time and work out what's the best plan. And we'll leave that up to Dale Monteith and the club. But obviously our decision had to be made as far as what was going to happen today.
You couldn't save it.
Another similar band of hail and storms coming through.
Yeah, the Weather Bureau have been very good to us, and they've said it's the worst they've ever seen in their experience.
Well, Shane says it was worse than Vanderham. So
worse than Vanderham, the worst storm I've seen of that kind in Melbourne in my life.
I'll take your word for that.
Newmarket, Terry. Have a nice day. Welcome to Racing Review. Coming to very testing circumstances here in Melbourne after, well, one of the strangest days we've experienced at a racetrack yesterday. Just an eerie day there yesterday, wasn't it?
It was sort of when we got past the post in the Newmarket, definitely.
Well, just take us through that. Snap Rock Colt, it cost $800,000 as a yearling for Hayson Bloodstock. Eddie Hayson now in the ownership of a big syndicate headed by Anthony Thompson's Widden Stud, and that is a valuable win for him. Strange race to watch there, Steve. From about the 400 metres home, they all just looked as though they were holding their position.
It not only looked that way, it was that way. 110.1, the slowest Newmarket since 1994. 35.2, first 600. Luke, they didn't look like you were going particularly hard. Didn't look like there was a lot of pressure up front.
No, not really. There's only sort of Danny Burton, Benny Nicklick and myself there. And because we're probably we're the likely two on paper to sort of roll it, take it up. And we didn't sort of cut each other's necks or throats at all. But it was just a headwind. Everything that came out into it sort of went as quick as we did. And as a result...
So maybe because you had some momentum when you're rolling,
Yeah, that was the lights going into Flemington yesterday. Plenty of post-race drama as well. 5-car stud broke a pelvis, and King Pulse took fright when that horse was going through the race and got away and was sent to the Werribee Clinic overnight. What's the news, Steve?
Very bad hip and shoulder injuries, and the best case scenario is out for 6 months. But they're still waiting to make sure that everything goes to plan in the next few days. But he's going to be out for at least 6 months.
When he crossed the
It came pretty quick, and we would have been out there inspecting a track.
Yeah.
We might have had to come back today and run him.
Craig Newitt might have been a bit nervous yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, he had a near miss with the Lightning, didn't he, 12 months ago or so?
Have a look at that there, though, Steve. I mean, they're good hardy souls, punters, aren't they?
Well, there's no doubt about that. We are resilient.
And it's a great shot there yesterday of a girl who was trying to get out of the rain, and she just went completely, as you would expect the following words to come.
Yes, sure. Bottom. She flipped on her bottom.
That's correct. It was pretty strange scenes there, wasn't it? You can see the steam coming off the track. It was, well, here we go. She was the star of the show yesterday. I've had many requests to have this replayed again, so in the interest of the viewer, bang.
Poor girl. That's unfair. Hope she's all right.
I went straight over.
Unbelievable scenes at Flemington. After they ran the Newmarket, no sooner had the horses come back to the mounting yard when it started, and there were hailstones as big as golf balls coming down, and they were coming down and bouncing 3 feet in the air when they were really coming down at speed. And horses were scattering everywhere. Horses got away. One of the very lucky horses, a couple of horses weren't so lucky. King Pulse is in a bit of strife, and we'll know more today or tomorrow about his ongoing condition. He got away.
Minute-by-minute advice from the Weather Bureau. They knew they had a 10-minute window to run the Newmarket. They were in consultation with the Jockeys Association. The jockeys were happy enough to go out. They knew it was going to be tight, but they were happy enough to proceed with that race yesterday.
Gee, all right.
I don't know.
Anything to add there?
Well, where safety's an issue, does it matter what race it is? I heard Dwayne Dunn in an interview after the race saying any other race we would have come back to the enclosure. So obviously safety was an issue there. I think they're very, very lucky to get away with what they got away with, even though there was a
Jim Reed Stakes, and he ran very well in the Oakley Plate. The simple fact of the matter is that he's hard and fit, and these conditions suited him absolutely perfectly yesterday. And given the fact that we had that little bit of a rain before the race, it probably also assisted everything that was going to be up on the speed too. Given the fact that there was never a great deal of speed in the race, and Wanted was one of those horses that was always going to be there, as well, I suppose, be just a little on the boring side, but a very, very good performance by Wanted, and even Little Headway ran a good race too.
Yeah, look, a bit of an uninspiring race. I think nothing made an ounce of ground there. Full credit to the winner. I know we say this all the time, but he thoroughly deserved that win. He'd been placed in a number of Group 1s. He's a lovely animal. They paid big money for him. They got the result they wanted, and I'd have no problems breeding to a horse like that. He is a real good sort of a horse with a good pedigree, and he's got the score.
Look to that part of the track. On the Australian Cup, well, Shocking gets a chance to now run next week. If he overcomes a foot abscess in the next 48 hours, he'll have a gallop on Tuesday. That's the current market as it sits right now with Tia Linton and Denman. They coped with things pretty well yesterday. Denman $1.70, Linton $5, Set for Fame at $6. And
What's happening with the market? More Joyous is the favourite at $1.22 on course.
Well, Caroline, the betting would suggest that they may as well send this trophy via courier up to Strawberry Hills right now. $1.22 More Joyous. She's dominant.
Campaign, and these horses right through the Autumn Carnival wearing these pinky colours rather than the blue and white. There she is, More Joyous, a superstar filly herself. More Than Ready, the sire. Sunday Joy
was at $41, and Devoise is at $151. It's all about this real, well, she's a gun filly, isn't she? More Joyous. She's trying to make it.
More Joyous jumped on turns with them, sweepstaking, and so anyway came out very quickly, and Prerequisite going up on the outside. So they're just ambling through the first 100 metres here. More Joyous has a head in front, leading narrowly from Prerequisite, and then came over on the inside. So anyway, for his last of all. 6.50 out. He's staying away from the inside on More Joyous, and that's allowed sweepstaking to come up and almost be joint leader. as they run up towards the turn, a half to prerequisite third. So anyways, come off the bit. Hurdle Myrtle's about to start a run out wide, and Little Surfer Girl and Devoir are at the tail of the field. Nash still has More Joyous under a tight hold, sweepstaking the rail prerequisite, and Hurdle Myrtle is coming strongly down the outside out after the favourite. So More Joyous in front. Now he gets busy as Hurdle Myrtle comes up on the outside and gives it a race, and they've sprinted away from So Anyway. Hurdle Myrtle on the outside might have a slight lead. More Joyous is kicking back. It's Hurdle Myrtle and More Joyous down to the line, but the champion filly fights back and wins it. More Joyous. She outgamed Hurdle Myrtle to win it. Third home was So Anyway, I think just in front of Little Surfer Girl, and then Devoir, followed further back behind them by Prerequisite, and at the tail of the field, sweepstaking.
So she is. She was headed by Hurdle Myrtle. More Joyous. She's fought back on the inside. Yes, I was rapt to see her do that because we had a real fight on our hands, 150 out, and full credit to Hurdle Myrtle. She put it right up to us late and probably got a head on us. And you know what sort of opinion I have of this filly, and she practically lifted herself up off the canvas, and that's what you like to see good horses and champions do.
But were you surprised? Yeah, having a stiff scotch after that.
Almost enough to make you take up drinking. Off the deck, got into an SP of $122, $1.40 best anywhere in the world yesterday. Hurdle Myrtle made her work for it, Rich.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think all of us are expecting just a walk in the park. You get paid, there's no difference there, but I think Mark made a very good point yesterday, and I was standing in the enclosure looking at it. She's never been the biggest frame filly to start with, Mark, but a long way to go to the Doncaster.
Well, she looked good first up, but I thought she'd lightened off a lot yesterday, and it just you just have to see if Gay can pick her up again. Maybe she's still a bit flat after that that win first up where they ran fast time. But going on to take on older horses in the Doncaster might be a little bit different to beating the fillies. So I think it all depends on how she turns up at the races next time and how she looks.
Little Surfer Girl with
colours. They weren't Singos or Jerry Harvey's colours on.
No. I think Jerry and Singo's horses through the autumn are going to wear these colours, the Gut Foundation colours, which is an awareness to bowel cancer. And congratulations to both of them, because they got some high profile horses in over the autumn, and it will bring an awareness to the importance of bowel cancer and going to the bar. If you laid the 5s or 10s on, you'd be going to the bar with your last on it.
I thought it might be better than it looks, actually.
Well, was she knocked around by a first up win?
Well, maybe that.
She ran 110 on a slow track first up.
Maybe that, and maybe he just went a little too slow on it. She was half over racing, wanting to go faster, and that just burns energy. And if you look the last 20 metres, she's working away from the second filly again. He might have just been too cute on her. You know, if she'd have posted at a slightly higher speed, she might have won by further.
Yeah, look,
Between a 21 to 26. Manahara, 21 into 20, back to 21 again. No support for Ellen Barry. She opened up 460 and has been drifting all the time out to $7. Solar charged every time they've got out to 180. Crunch, 175. 185 looks like it was the best bet here. Georgette Silk, 420 out to 5.
Cut and Solar Charge jumped on turns with the Magista going up on the outside, but Solar Charge has got a little bit too much speed for them early, and the favourite ran away and led by over a length on Georgette Silk, and then came Magista. Gold Arena going up on the inside, and Triple Crown along the rails starting to improve. Ellen Barry was beaten for speed, went back to second last, and last is Manahara. So Bowman's got this leader under a very tight hold at the 600. Solar Charge leading out by a length on Georgette Silk. Triple Crown third on the inside, Agista on the outer. It's already being hard ridden, and then Gold Arena. Ellen Barry's a long way back as this leader goes for home. Solar Charged increasing its lead, and Manahara back last. Solar Charged with Bowman steering wide. Georgette Silk is riding its slipstream into the straight. They're about 3 lengths on Triple Crown, Gold Arena, and Agista. He starts to ride Solar Charged along. She's about 3 lengths in front of Georgette Silk, who's not making any impression. The leader's wobbling in towards the rail, Solar Charged, but here's the new slipper favourite. She's making a mess of them, Solar Charged. She'll go down and win it by about 4 lengths on Ellen Barry and Georgette Silk. And then came Manahara, followed further back in behind them by Triple Crown, then Gold Arena, and back last of all was Agista.
Slipper favourite indeed. Number 8, Solar Charge. She is quite some filly by Charge Forward for Johnny.
And a pretty happy Johnny O'Shea too. And never easy.
The 2, Gaptum, Ellen Barry, good from back. Georgette Silk. I mean, they're 2 good horses chasing her. And the thing was, the margin was decisive, Rich.
He travelled. In the morning, we're all doing speed maps, Mark, and oh no, just is going to do this. They're going to go hard. She's going to have to do a bit of work. She jumped, she travelled, and she bolted in.
Yeah, I think the only risk with her in the slipper is that she's revved up in front both times, and we've seen in the last couple of years you've had to be back off the speed. Maybe she's a little bit too keen, and John O'Shea probably have to try and get her to steady in the lead-up race to the Golden Slipper. That's the only downside I can see with her, but she's head and shoulders above anything we've seen here.
And in a very good job,
which come the race day as well. 4.20 ahead of Chance by 7.50. Beneteau, $8. Military Rose we'll see shortly at 10. We saw Ellen Barry.
We've got to harness her speed. Look, she comes out of the barriers like a gazelle. Her even time looks to be 11 to the furlong. Can you harness that speed? Like, is she so aggressive? Does she have to be so aggressive?
I don't think she's aggressive. Just naturally, she's got this very efficient action that puts herself there quite easily, you know. And well, I think the tempo of the slipper this year is going to be very quick.
Early speed's a disadvantage in a slipper.
No.
She's got natural early speed. Put herself right where she needs to be. And
we
not
say
do it
that
hard.
the last couple of Golden Slipper winners have come from last. I know where I want to. I still want to have gate speed.
I know. She looks like a lovely type, John. She's got a great action.
Yeah, she's got a really beautiful action, similar to her father. He had a lovely fluent action too. So,
well, Amber's Welsh, you're giving a bit of a rap to there. Is it getting to the stage where we have to respect the Magic Millions winner who absolutely destroyed that field?
I've got no doubting that that's the horse to beat in the Golden Slipper.
Okay.
And that horse is?
Military Rose.
King Pulse. But here we have 8 Group 1 winners in the mounting yard for the Patnack Farm Chipping Norton Stakes for 2010. The favourite, 290 to 280, Rangi Rangdu. Richard?
Let's go down the board and update these prices. Plenty of time to do just that. Now, number one here, Thesio, 8 to 8.50. Back to $8 again. Dan Lee is $5.50, edging out to $6.50. Rangdu is the favourite, $2.70 out to $2.90, then back to $2.80 again. Road to Rock, $9 to $9.50. Rock Kingdom, 10 out to $11. No Wine, No Song, 200 to 1. Speed Gifted, 7 out to $10. The drying track probably not enhancing his chances. Into $7.50 on course, nice and solid in the market. Danley, $6.50 to 6, back to $6.50. Roman Emperor, $31 to $26. Don't mind him as a roughie. Vision and Power, $9.50 out to $11. Rangi Rangdu, the firm favourite, $2.90 into $2.80, then back out to $2.90. Road to Rock is 9 out to 10. Rock Kingdom is 11 to 13. No Wine, No Song, 300 to 1. Money coming for number 11, Speed Gifted. Lee Friedman's already won a race here with Dane Julie. Can he make it a double for the stable? Speed Gifted, 10 into $8.50. Purple.
They're racing in the Chipping Norton and a good dispatch. Speed Gifted and Vision and Power drifting towards the rear shortly after the start. And Thesio and Rock Kingdom were the best two out. Rangi Rangdu settling up with them in third spot. Purple going forward on the outside into fourth. And then Prima Nova. She didn't begin all that well, but she scurried along the inside to be in a forward spot from No Wine, No Song. And then came Speed Gifted. Roman Emperor was back with them, followed by Dan Lee. Road to Rock to the halfway mark. Thesio the leader. Unchallenged by a length on Rock Kingdom. Rangi Rangdu still stalking them in third. Two to Purple. Then came Prima Nova. Speed Gifted starting to pick up ground along the rail. He's come up to midfield now. Roman Emperor starting to run out wider on the track as No Wine, No Song starts to go back. Then Vision and Power. Dan Lee's got a lot of work to do. He's still about 8 or 10 off the lead. And Road to Rock's back at the rear. Into the straight and Thesio the leader from Rock Kingdom. Rangi Rangdu goes for the inside runners. The other two go wider. They're 3 lengths on Purple and Speed Gifted. Thesio the leader coming to the 200. Rock Kingdom on his outside and the favourite Rangi Rangdu comes up along the rail. It's Thesio and Rangi Rangdu. Tooth and nail struggle. Rangi Rangdu on the inside is getting level with Thesio. They come to the post. There's nothing in it. Thesio might have bobbed. It's a photo. Hang on to your tickets. Thesio or Rangi Rangdu. Been behind them, Danley might have got up for third in front of Premium Over and Road to Rock. And then came Rock Kingdom, followed by Vision and Power. Then Speed Gifted, Purple, followed by Roman Emperor. And back at the tail with them is No Wine, No Song, and a thrilling finish in the Chipping Norton.
That was an absolute thriller. Thessio on the outside. Does he have his nose down? He may well be the winner. Rangi Rangdu fighting back. He headed Thessio. Thessio dug deep. He is a magnificent racehorse. Rangi Rangdu is as well. Thessio the winner. Thessio takes out the Patnack Farm Chipping Norton Stakes for Gay Waterhouse and Star Thoroughbreds. What a great performance. He's a real warhorse. Gay will be jumping up and down. Congratulations to Star Thoroughbreds. Denise Martin picked up this horse at the Magic Millions sale for $120,000. Well done, Denise.
Oh, typically tough Waterhouse performance for Thessio. Had been second in the Australian Cup on the same day last year. Outgunned Rangi Rangdu fair and square there yesterday. Heading on to try and defend his title now in the Randvet Stakes. Stewards wanted to question Huey Bowman, Dan Lee, Ty England, Speed Gifted and Timmy Clark, Rangi Rangdu in the race over tactics. But let's talk about the winner here, Rich, and that was just terrific from Thessio.
Well, the one thing Thessio's shown in his career that he's tough. I'm a number one fan club holder of Rangi Rangdu, but he stopped. He turned it up. I tell you where Dan Lee was unlucky. Huey went back to the fence at about the 800 to follow Speed Gifted, who made the run. But as Speed Gifted went through and Huey wanted to follow him through, Prima Nova let Speed Gifted through, then rolled back to the fence, and Huey had nowhere to go. He was the unlucky runner, Dan Lee. That was his first defeat on a slow track. If any rain around come George Ryder Day, I think he'll be winning, Dan Lee. I think he showed yesterday that no worries about the mile mark, and that's where he'll head, no doubt. George Ryder, Doncaster.
Yeah, I think Thessio was up after, 300 days off. He showed remarkable improvement. You still think there's plenty up the sleeve. Look, he eyeballed this Rangi Rangdu and thought, well, mate, you're in the A grade now. You try and get past me. And he couldn't. Rangi Rangdu. I don't know about this Rangi Rangdu. I don't know. I'm sort of got him on a good horse. Well, I'm going to retire him into the Imposter de Largo and Zagreb paddock if he doesn't keep this up.
You think he's not genuine?
Well, he's done it more than 2 or 3 occasions now.
Well, he just keeps running places.
Well, he's got to win a major, and he had his opportunity there because he had a fitness edge. He had the right run.
A bit out.
Well, he came to win here. He's coming against an unfit horse.
Well, he hardly now. Look, how can you say he's unfit? The horse kept going in front of for a mile and slow going.
Yeah, well,
he'd hardly be unfit.
He's an A+ grader, Thessio, and I don't think Rangi Rangdu will ever beat his stablemate again, Dan Lee. Dan Lee was a certainty beaten in that race. Nothing went right. I don't know why you can follow No Wine.
What does Rangi Rangdu?
Firm at 440, drum beats, well supported, $5.50 into $5. Mr. Baritone 12, Benicia 21, 26 to 21, Emperor Bonaparte 17, Get Up Jude 300, Snappy Halo 26 to 31, back to 26 late in the piece. Dreamscape pretty firm at 440, and the other start time for the Liverpool City Cup of 2010. Let's go up to it.
And the starter releases them racing. And coming out well, Centennial Park in the centre. He's up there in the early stages. Dreamscape is going forward to head him shortly after the start. Then Pillar of Hercules and Miss Marielle going up near the inside as Drum Beats and Miss Baritone in that group as well. Handy on the inside as Emperor Bonaparte, followed by Chronogo, and Dreamscape is the leader by a length and a half. Centennial Park tracking him and going up on the outside to improve as Pillar of Hercules. Then came Mr. Baritone. Just in behind them next as they settle down. Drum Beats over on the inside as Emperor Bonaparte, and wider out as Miss Marielle. Then Benicia, followed by Krona, Snappy Halo, Get Up Jude and Twin Wing Triple Honour. Merrily's in the second half of the field, and back last of all is Ale Wonder. Coming into the straight, Dreamscape leader. Centennial Park giving a smack with a whip, goes up on the outside to go after Ed. Emperor Bonaparte cutting back to the inside, and at the head of the others, Drum Beats. Still Dreamscape the leader inside the 200 from Centennial Park. Triple Honour's starting to weave into the clear. It's Dreamscape the leader with about 50 or 60 metres to go, and Dreamscape will hang on and win it from Triple Honour. I think it's Mr. Baritone in a photo there, with coming quickly on the outside, Benicia for third, then Centennial Park. At the head of the others next, Emperor Bonaparte, followed further back.
Dreamscape adds the Liverpool City Cup, another stakes win, another group win to his wins in the Stan Fox, and the up-and-coming, this 4-year-old stallion, by Schwazir from the family of Sadler's Wells and Nureyev. That is great for his stallion value. He's beaten home a number 2, Triple Honour, 14 and 2 are the confirmed numbers. Triple Honour
$5 to 7, Silent Symphonies 8 to 13, Walpersdorf is steady.
Escape too tough. Starting Cat Cedars bouncing back there. Triple Honour showed some sort of form. Mr. Baritone off Mornington runs well. Loves the sting out of the track. What do we make of this race, Rich?
Greenscape, tough as they come. He's come back in great order. You got to give credit to Michael Moroney. He isn't Mr. Baritone, just a good, tough, honest campaigner. He goes everywhere, like he was in the Ariba behind Huxon last start at Mornington. Triple honour. I think Chris Waller's said a few times now, you learn as a trainer. He said he's an autumn horse. And he's thrown in the way.
Handsome Zuli straight onto the speed as well. Martial Artist handy. No Emotion came out next. Monaco Consuls working up out 3 and 4 wide. Out widest of all, King Raidwell, then followed I'm a Bay Boy as they come down towards us looking to jockey for positions. Settling handy as well as Timekeeper. They're 5 or 6 deep out in front. He's eased off on Monaco Consuls, going to steady him behind them. Back near the rear now is 500 metres out on the Derby. Timekeeper has dictated the play. Monaco Consuls run off on the home turn, the favourite. He's gone to the outside. The pacemaker is Timekeeper. Too clear for Military Move, the first to challenge. Running on then out wider, we've got Handsome Zulu, followed by Martial Art. Sazuela starting to appear. Here's Corporal Jones down the outside. 200 metres to go. Military Move, the one to catch. Corporal Jones is storming with Handsome Zulu. Military Move in front for Mickey Walker. Corporal Jones can't pick it up. It's a Cambridge derby. Military Move and Mickey Walker have won it. Second, it's close here between Corporal Jones and right with it also Handsome Zulu. Then follows Zazuela. Timekeeper bind with Military Move, owned in Hong Kong by Stephen Kitsing Low.
Chairman of Stewards, and I think that the fact that they were only out there for a short.
Well, good race coming up here, Dino. 4 minutes from the Alambi Classic Group 2. Some pretty smart speedsters going around here. Dean, how does the market shape up?
I'll tell you what that me. We've got Deneb, who's $71. Now, Majestic Music, who's drawn barrier 9. Claire Lind up to ride. It's been a bit of a drifter here. 330 at the 440. So too Sister Madley. Now, I've got no doubt she's the best horse in the race. On course, 280 at the 460. It's drawn back.
Racing in the Alambi. Pretty even sort of start. Sister Madley on the inside, a trifle sluggish, and Hunis is going for the lead. Showing speed, Believe in More, and up there Luce Del Mare, and wider out About Me's coming over. Then Sister Majestic Music and its stablemate Bitmars at the rear. Hunis leads by 1 length, Sister Madley. Third is About Me, and fourth, Luce Del Mare. Luminous Harmony travels beautifully. Then came Happy Hippie on the inside of Believe in More, followed by Clocked, and then came Deneb as they make the home turn to the 500 out wide. Too Many Reds from Rivers Lane, Majestic Music and Bitmar. They're about to straighten in the Alambi. Hunis still the leader from Sister Madley. Luce Del Mare needs a run. Wider out on the track, About Me, deeper Luminous Harmony. Happy Hippie back to the inside. There's a bumping duel going on. Believe in More, Deneb. And down the outside, Majestic Music is starting to absolutely drop upon them. Here comes Majestic Music. It's flying out wide. Sister Madley the leader, but Majestic Music overhauling it. Sister Madley, Majestic Music, hands and heels. Lindop punched it out, got there. What a win. Sensational win, Majestic Music. It beat Sister Madley. Third in, I'd say, Happy Hippie from Luminous Harmony. It's a photo there. Then Bitmar, final victory by a very, very good horse.
Oh, Hilton more on the money there. Majestic Music. Well, Hilton called it a long way from home.
I think Hilton called it before it turned for home.
I think he went 3 strides out the gates and said this race is over. But Majestic Music, very impressive win. Claire Lindop continuing her super form. Liam McDonald's done a wonderful job with his filly. Of course, it did run.
The one. Kerdem coming forward. Thank you, Graham. 140th running of this big race, a Group 2 event these days, but still the best race in Adelaide because they turn out for it. We have a public holiday for it. And Humaway goes in. They're off. And beginning very nicely on the inside, Moment in Time, and Night Tonic was out well. Kerdem up to third early. From right, Fong. Very wide, Brad Starr improving around Fairy Gem, and also pressing forward is Dolphin Joe. Back behind those, Mogadin from Doubly Shore. King of the Sun a little wide. It's on Night Tonic. Moment in Time still third from Brad Starr. Humaway's coming into it around the outside. At the 900 runs to third and runs strongly. Then Brad Starr followed by Fairy Gem, King of the Sun from Doubly Shore. 2 lengths away, Kerdem. Al Wafi, Cape Cover gives them about 8 to 9 lengths. Followed by You Beautiful Doll. Mogadin is back at the tail with It's the One. Coming up to the home turn. 600 metres left to go, and Humaway with a searching run from the back of the field has hit the front in the Adelaide Cup. It's Humaway leading, Right Fong going to second. Dolphin Joe, too big for him. Moment in time on the inside. Fairy Gem is starting to come into it. Then Brad Star, and It's the One has come from last to about fifth as they straighten for home. 300 metres to go. Humaway still the leader. Moment in time to the inside. Right Fong. It's the One is coming down the outside, and here's Kerdem and Cape Cover. The Payne pair are overhauling these leaders at the 150. They'll fight it out, Paddy Payne's pair. It's Cape Cover and Kerdem. It's the One holding third. Cape Cover's come through. Too strong. Brilliant ride, Arnold. Cape Cover first. By a length, Photo second. I'll go Kerdem. A half head on It's the One. Fairy Gem fourth. Then Moment in Time from Nitonic, followed in by Albason, pulling up well behind the others.
Oh, well done to our early mail tipsters. Mark Sheen's on fire. So too Julie Rowland. She made this one of her best. Cape Cover. Stephen Arnold. Well done to Patrick Payne. He was an outstanding jockey, and he's turned his trade into training, and he's produced Cape Cover this afternoon. Well done. 57 kilos over the 2 mile. Never in doubt around the home corner. And Cape Cover has saluted in the Group 2 Adelaide Cup. The photo for
there he is. We're getting a bit of a look at him there. He's a reset 4-year-old. He's lightly raced. He's going through the grades well.
They're set and they're racing, and Poetic Justice beat them out. Decision time began well, unanimously showing speed. Top Droppers nice and handy. Secession, decision time fifth on the inside, followed then by Secession. Top Drop out 3 wide. Poetic Justice, it's unanimously in the centre, and Bagger's Tail on the inside, the first 2. Followed by back in behind those, one more Grand out 3 wide. Hour of Peril and decision time nearer the inside. Top Drop pulls to the outside, and Bottom Ready heads the others, but it's unanimously in front in the Opal. Down to the last 200 metres. Decision time is finishing strongly. Unanimously in decision time on the inside. Decision time's taken the lead. Lohan and Bottom Ready screaming home. The leader is decision time. It'll cling on. Decision time's won the Opal. By length. A photo second. Bottom Ready and Lohan. A further photo fourth with How Dash today. And decision time remains undefeated. So both the Guineas winner and now the Opal winner are both 4 from 4, and it's number 4, decision time. Number 13 is number 10.
More than happy to make sure I follow him everywhere he went. He's a very promising colt.
Well, the David Hayes stable has unfortunately lost 2 horses in the space of 24 hours. Changing of the guard died during surgery, while Our Aquiline was put down after suffering a training mishap.
Just normal track work. He just got to about the draw, just past the 400. And then just faltered for 2 strides, and then he just pulled him up.
But the racing gods are favouring Mark Kavanagh. Shocking will run in Saturday's rescheduled Australian Cup. The Melbourne Cup winner was scratched last weekend because of a foot abscess.
With these things, they can change and they could flare up again, but certainly he was 100% yesterday morning when we galloped him, and he was 100% this morning, so I'm more than happy with him.
And
Mark Kavanagh's wretched run of luck continues. He has been forced to again scratch Shocking from an Australian Cup start. Just yesterday, Kavanagh showed off the Melbourne Cup winner, who had recovered from a hoof injury that forced his scratching from last Saturday's race. But the injury flared again this morning, and Shocking will now be sent for a spell. Normal
Saturday, but this is not a normal Saturday. This is Super Family Day with 2 Group 1s added for the Group 2 Bellamy Stakes. And there's your tote market. Dow, $1.80, $1.40, $1.60 on the across the totes. It's 2.10 here on course.
Long time. No sporting bet market mover here, Bruce. I think most of the business was done yesterday on Dow, and they packed nothing to beat him.
Off they go. Dow jumps away okay. Live to the full near the inside. Rightfully Yours. Both began fast. Dr. Fremantle was straight out the back, and there's Like a Larrikin. He's being booted forward, and he's going to run to the lead soon after the start. So Like a Larrikin by 2 lengths. Vigor moved up into second placing, and then Life to the Full on the inside of Dow. Larrikin touch over 2 lengths on Vigor, travelling comfortably second. Life to the Full third on the inside of Raffaello. Dow edging a bit closer, and Rightfully Yours pulling his way into the race on his outside. Then Dr. Fremantle, Hissing Sid and Lord Tavistock bunched around the turn in the Blamey, and it's a Like a Larrikin first into the straight, 2 lengths to Vigor. Raffaello, Dow called on. Rightfully Yours comes with him. Lord Tavistock was deeper out. Life to the Full over on the inside. Vigor sprinted up at the 300 metres. 2 lengths in front of Dow Dow. Had a bit of a turn of foot here, did Vigor. The outside, Lord Tavistock. Dow Dow can't go on. Look at the leader with 100 metres to go. Lord Tavistock running to second on the outside. It's coming hard, Lord Tavistock. The lead, Lord Tavistock beat Vigor and Neck. Dow Dow 3/4 away third. Close for fourth placing. That's between Missing Sidu got home and Life to the Full. Clear of Raffaello. Rightfully Yours didn't come on. Out last.
It's a ball over here with the Kiwi as Tavistock, his name there. Lord Tavistock here runs past Vigor, who looked home. Dow Dow plods into third.
For race 5, the Sweet Embrace, 270 into 250.
Looked home, one in running, bad luck.
50.
Looked home, Vigor, didn't he? So did the punter on Betfair, who took the $1.01 in running, bad luck. Lord Tavistock nails it on the line. Dow Dow pretty flat. Stevie Arnold found guilty of careless riding. I think a touch harsh. At the 700 metres, as Newitt went round him on Rightfully Yours. As Rightfully Yours. Yeah, and he just
a short price favourite in a Group 2 race. He's entitled to be trying to get his horse into the running. I didn't think it was outrageous by any stretch. I think Dow Dow, maybe you've got to ride him aggressively. I don't think you ride this horse cute. The winner, you probably ride the opposite way, and I think we saw that yesterday. He was ridden 2 forward. Caulfield, Vigor was good. Rightfully Yours was graceful.
The Fremantle was okay, got held up in running, I thought, for an Australian debut run.
Dow was still very, very unlucky, and I personally believe that the damage was done the moment he let Vigor go ahead of him. That was always going to be a problem because you're going to get other runners from the back trying to improve their position. Didn't mind the run of Doc Fremantle.
Action here at Flemington for finally the running of the Guineas postponed from last week. Another bet of $150,000 with Sporting Bet on Denman. So we've had 2 bets today in the last half hour, one of 100,000, one of 150. The confidence is there for Denman, and when we show you him, $5 about Linton and $5.50 about Set for Fame. The rest say the punters are here to do battle for next to the going up into the frame. There's the totes. He is clearly the Sporting Bet market mover. Those 2 massive bets in the last half to 3/4 of an hour. $100,000. One bet.
And he did miss the start a little bit, Denman. He seemed to bob his head and he was slow by almost a length, and he kicks forward now. Guru Bob Carrara first out from Set for Fame, retaining the inside. Booting around them now, Denman. He's going to get up and sit outside of Guru Bob, who has the lead. As they sit 1,000, Guru Bob by about a neck here. The odds-on favourite, Denman, running second, a length and a half. Carrara third. Set for Fame fourth. A length further back in the field, then came Rock Classic. Being trailed a length and a half, most immediate. And over on the inside, Chief of Staff. And 2 lengths away is Linton as the Guineas field is on the swing for home. And McAvoy now allowing Denman a little more rain, and he takes a slender lead from Guru Bob. Carrara right behind them with Set for Fame. Rock Classic on the outside. They're swinging for home now. They're followed by most immediate, Chief of Staff, and still 2 lengths to Linton at the end of the field. Denman leading narrowly. Carrara goes with him on the outside. Set for Fame getting up on the rail. And here's Rock Classic. He swamps him on the outside now. Denman under siege at the 200. Rock Classic race to him. Set for Fame on the inside. Wider Linton coming, but it's Rock Classic in front with 100 to go. Kicked away by a length and a half. Set for Fame trying, but Rock Classic, Bart wins it. Rock Classic beats Set for Fame by a length. Linton a length third. Denman in fourth placing, followed by Carrara and most immediate, Chief of Staff, and Guru Bob is last home.
How do you beat Bart? Way too good. Congratulations to Bart Cummings. He wins the Guineas for the first time, I think. Fantastic performance. Bart Cummings. But congratulations. I don't know how you put the words of performance on that, because he came off a very green win in Sydney and turned it around in great style today against quality opposition.
Well, he had a few problems. We solved the problems, figured out how to resolve them, and the result's been perfect.
And when you looked at this race early doors, you would have thought, so you think your number 1 string, and this bloke's emerged at the right time for you.
Well, he developed a few problems, which we have now corrected. So we had to stack up the second rank, and he stepped good enough to be in his place.
It's all at sea in that win in Sydney. What, apart from a few gear changes, what did you need to get right with him to?
Let's have a look. Denman, he was unbalanced.
Yeah, what he tried to do there.
And you can never rule him out. This horse he's always had some sort of ability, but we just thought it might be a little bit too soon for him. But he proved today that he was just too strong.
It's an awesome win, though, wasn't it?
I couldn't believe it. probably coming around the turn at the 600. I kept just sort of looking behind me because I didn't want to be put in a pocket when the sprint went on, but I didn't want to be there too early because I knew that my bloke was get to the front and have a good look. But once we come around the turn and I pulled my way past Denman, I thought I've just got to head for home and pin the ears back. And he sort of, every time I eased up on him a little bit, he'd slow up. So I just had to get stuck into him. And it was an outstanding win, you know.
Our Rock Classic, Michael Rod shakes his head. We all do. Bow our heads to the great man Bart. Set for fame, Luke Nolan still shaking his head. Linton was fantastic. Denman flopped. We'll talk to Karen McAvoy shortly. Horse bought for $275,000 by Bart. We'll hear that story shortly. This was quite arrogant, really.
It was, Bruce. I don't know about Michael Rod shaking his head when he turned his head at about the 600 to look at what was happening, probably having a look for the grey horse on the left of picture there, and didn't see him immediately in his wake. He was impressive. The filly was good, and obviously Linton, who did run home in 33.6 after just wanting to throw his head up for the first 400 metres or so, Nick.
Yeah, I think the 4 weeks between runs. Go wobble up the straight to claim victory in Bart. So we'll send this down to Melbourne. Of course, So You Think was still on the agenda at that stage. So good luck to you, Bart. It was 70-1 at that stage. He's just a freak, Bart, isn't he?
Look, there's no doubt about that. He had those, I think they're enclosed blinkers as such, but he always promised plenty Rock Classic. He's still on his 5th race start, but he travelled magnificent there. And Michael Rod's building up a good association. I know Michael Rod from home there. Denman always seemed to struggle. I loved to own the winner, but I'd also love to own Linton. He looks just like come the spring, I think, come the real good horse, Mark.
Well, Bart does it again, doesn't he? You look at all those winners he had through the spring. They were all at double-figure odds too, bar Faint Perfume. Malay Wonder at big odds. We had Viewed at big odds. So You Think. He just keeps doing it, doesn't he?
He just put his head down when the barriers opened, but wasn't too much of an issue. He was able to sort of zip out and show his normal speed to get in that handy spot. Guru Bob just went a little bit steady when we got there, and I wanted to sit second once I sort of got into that spot. And my fellow just over-raced a little bit, which was telling on his finishing effort. So if in hindsight, I would have liked to have led. So, but I'm sure that the team's going to sort of stick to seven furlongs, 6 furlongs from now on.
Yeah, so what do we make of them? And Caulfield, he was. Yeah, so what do we make of them? And Caulfield, he was scratching the barriers yesterday again. He was a bit iffy in the barriers. I know Keren's now saying in hindsight, perhaps.
I don't think so. He was very relaxed on the track yesterday,
absolutely,
wasn't he? And going to the barriers, and he raced fairly flat. But on the evidence of what we just seen, you couldn't back him in a mile race until you actually see him win it. You couldn't back him in a mile race, and maybe, of course, he'd been beating Guru Bob and
put the blinkers on, and you saw what he did to them. Denman, unfortunately, he's becoming a habit where he's missing the start. And I tell you what, I still got no idea whether he runs 1,600 metres or not. I don't know whether I'm going to sack him getting 1,600 metres on that. I don't think I will. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I really did like the performance of Linton. Nick, how good is he?
Very serious horse. He's
an outstanding field, and no one in their wildest dreams could think Rock Classic could put paid to that field the way he did. He had them covered on the turn. She was sensational, the second filly. She just followed the right horse, but he didn't kick at the right time, and she just lost a bit of momentum, but she didn't throw it away. She's outstanding, Set for Fame. And, well, what about the sectionals? Linton rallied off there in that race. He is a star for the spring. There's no doubt about it. An exciting race. I think that was the race of the day yesterday.
All right. Guineas run, Denman down, Rock Classic up, Bart up. Fantastic for Michael Rod. Here's the Australian Cup. And what a lineup we've got here. Work this one out. Master Rally, $19. Zipping at $6. $7.50 about Sermione. Harder Dreams at $5. Down to Barracus, 9 out to $9.50. So we go down the page here. Further down, you've got Moatees for Bart. Could he? $31. Of course he could. Zagreb at $15. Tabeek, $21. So we move down to Zarita, who's safe at $12. Miss Marin, 8 out to 9. And extras in a career which is just extraordinary.
I found 3 place getters. I might not have got them all. Sky Chase, Sir Midas and Eustaroff in the Guineas, all placed.
Well, he's got Sermione to go here and Moatees, and there's nothing the great man couldn't do today. He has had 2 winners on the card. Sermione, Cleason's, of course, mark him down for the future as an Australian Cup contender for the 100.
Racing.
And the starter caught them pretty well. Extra Zero and Laturio ease out of the early hustle and bustle. Barbaricus is going forward and leads early from Heart of Dreams, and going forward on the outside, Divine Rebel, followed by Zarita, and then Heart of Dreams as they settle into stride, followed by Master O'Reilly, Miss Marin, to Beak back on the inside, and then Zipping caught a little wide, followed by Growl and last his stablemate 2 or 3 lengths away is Moatees. Barbaricus has the lead, 1,000 metres to go in the Australian Cup. He's 3/4 of a length clear. Divine Rebel running second, 2 lengths away. Heart of Dreams, a beautiful trail on the inside of Zarita. Length and a half further back, Miss Barron to Beacon there, followed by Zipping's been wide all the way, improves his place at the 800. Then Master O'Reilly's a grab, and they're followed by Laturio, Growl, Extra Zero, Sermione. He's still second last, sweeping up towards the turn, and Moatees. They're about to swing for home. Barbaricus being joined by Miss Marin out wide. Zarita and Divine Rebel are there. They stretch across the track about 4. Followed further back in the field by Heart of Dreams, looking for the way clear. Extra Zero was next and zipping under the whip, and Laturio putting in a run, and Sermione coming down the outside now. 250 metres to go. Divine Rebel, Barbaricus down on the inside. Zipping Laturio, Sermione and Miss Marin coming out wide. They're right across the track. And here it's Zipping and Sermione from Heart of Dreams. Sermione zipping. Sermione's getting to Zipping. Zipping took nearly a dead heat between them. Zipping. Sermione is for third too. Heart of Dreams inside, and Moatees flashed home out wide. Then Divine Rebel, Miss Marin, followed by Laturio, Extra Zero to Beacon, Zagreb, Master O'Reilly. Further back is Growls, Arita, and Barbaricus drops out to finish near the tail of the field.
Heads are in sync here. Sermione outside and Zipping inside. There's nothing between them. Zipping's won it. Zipping on the inside is, if there is a margin, it's him a millimetre. If there is a margin, Shane,
I'm thinking it is. I'm thinking there
it's
is.
up 3 wins.
I think
Zipping
he's got it.
finally wins a Group 1 race for Lloyd Williams and Nicole. Just as Sermione and Bart look set for victory. It would have been a day. Zipping finally wins. They came from back together.
I reckon he dug in Zipping and said, "Buggy, this is my day."
And it was. Well done to him. Rob Hickmont shares in the spoils here for Team Williams. I'll show you some pictures of Rob because I like to show him and the hard work he does. That's a millimetre. That'll do. Bart Moatees on the outside. Excellent. Might miss out from...
And Moatees has got up and run third from a clear last. So Bart runs second and third. But today goes to old Zipping, who thoroughly deserved it.
Your team is a Group 1 winner, finally.
Well, he's a tough horse, isn't he? You know, I thought Sermione had him. Well, sure, Sermione had him, but he wouldn't get beaten. It's terrific for all the team up there at Massachusetts.
Just so durable, this horse. He's 8 years of age, and he just butters up season after season to race well for him.
Yeah, it'd be hard to beat in a BMW, I reckon.
Up to Sydney now?
Well, that's what I'm saying, but, you know, Dad doesn't like travelling too far, but I think we might be able to talk him into getting it up there.
Good on you, Nick.
He got trapped wide, but just with the lack of speed, I didn't want to be going right back to last, and I thought that might be my only other option. Took the punt for the midfield position, and he's just tough. Very
tough. You've been 3 wide, and you came with Luke Nolan, who you knew was going to be tough also.
Yeah, Luke was tough. Had to do a bit more than us around the turn, but we'd done enough, sort of entitled to run down. But credit to the stable, credit to the horse, toughed it out well.
It's terrific for all our staff up there to finally get this horse over the line for his Group 1. As you say, it's been a long time coming.
Talk about your team. That's Macedon's become your home up there. I was looking back at Zipping's life with Team Williams, and he started off in Queensland some 6 years ago, and he won a maiden at the Gold Coast, his first go. I presume Johnny Wallace was there. We'll talk to Johnny shortly. $1.85 he was, and Vincent Hall, cousin of yesterday's rider, rode him.
Yes, that's absolutely right. I think he's well backed on the race. I'm sure JP Wallace must have been present. He won there. He won there at the Gold Coast. He was an impressive maiden win. He then went to Eagle Farm, I think, at a Wednesday meeting or a midweek meeting anyway, and got beaten. But you know, he's been a long time in our system, and
Dreams the inside, and Moatees flashed home.
His 15th Group 1 start after 4 placings at that level. He denies Bart a 14th Australian Cup. Sermione. Nick all got pinched 1,000 for the whip. That was what Luke Nolan's whip use was like on the air, wasn't it, Nick?
Well, sorry, what were you thinking through the race, Nick? I think you would have been fairly comfortable mid-race-ish, other than the fact that he was sitting deep.
you know, you would have obviously liked him to have had some cover. You know, I wasn't concerned about him being 3 deep. You just would have loved him just to have a little bit of cover so he could get a bit of a rest through the race. But he was travelling so well through the race, and obviously had him very fit for the day. And you could see that. I guess my biggest worry was that he hit his customary flat spot when Latorio raced up on his outside, and that was the point, I guess, the do or die point in the race through my eyes anyway, where the run was either going to tell or not tell, and the way he fought it in his customary manner was terrific. I think actually, Bruce, it might be his fourth train. I think Miles Plum probably started.
Yeah, well, there you go. Miles Plum had a crack at him as well.
But they're all trainers, but they're it's the same boy that's looked after him, and Eddie Cass has done all.
He's a great horse. Obviously, the 3 Sandown Classics, Moonee Valley Cup, great runs in Cox Plates and Melbourne Cups. Over the way, would you have done anything differently with this horse?
No, I think we tried hard to get him to get the 2 miles. Ironically, as he's got older, it's probably I think his best chance in a Melbourne Cup, ironically, would have come last year when he injured himself in the barriers in the McKinnon, hence didn't run in the Melbourne Cup. The way he's trained on.
A trip 4 is a trip to Sydney. You can't win that battle with Dad.
No, one thing I've learned is that when a 69-year-old guy with a lot of knowledge, being my father, digs his heels in, you just put your hands in the air and move on. And he's very determined that he thinks this horse could possibly do a Fields of Omar and win the Cox Plate in the spring, and he's going to
plates with the way the tempo's gone, but maybe he'll do a Fields of Omar and do it this year.
50 metres to go. Did Sirmione put his head in front of you? And they appeared to come together sort of just before the line. Did that spur old Zipping on? Did that make him lift?
Yeah, look, Richard, I certainly moved out Sirmione, and he got ahead on me, and he's just tough. Zipping is a tough old horse. He's a stable favourite, and such a thrill to win on him.
Nick, you're not an aggressive whip rider that I've seen, and I see you get fined for using the whip, double what you should have before the 200. Is that just the old horse just needing a bit of a spur on?
Look, yeah, he certainly needed. It's a competitive sport, and it's what had to be done on the day. But I think it was a fitting penalty. The rules are in place and they have to be enforced.
You don't have to be aggressive these days to get a penalty, do you?
No, that's right.
Now, Nick,
that's some of the beaten brigade there. Sirmione, Moatees, Mark Cummings.
Yeah, well, they both ran right to the top of their game, didn't they? The just a bob of the head with Sirmione, and Moatees is that's what he's doing at the moment, teasing for a long time now. So maybe he's going to win a big one. He's still early in his campaign. Bart will probably bring him to Sydney now and maybe give him a shot at the BMW, which is a winnable race.
Isn't it funny, though, that the 2 horses we know Sirmione's got Group 1 weight for age form, and Zipping has Group 2 weight for age form, and a lot of those horses behind it had much less weight for age performance than that and were basically handicappers. And the handicappers just couldn't match it with weight for age horses. And we say this year in, year out. Weight for age horses are a special breed, aren't they? They're just a special horse.
Actually, I think you're pretty right there too, Richard. And I think what we've got to remember too, what it probably really did tell us yesterday, that Harder Dreams at the better level does really sort of struggle at the 2,000 metres. And I thought Latorio's performance was also fairly solid, because Nick actually just gave it a little bit of a tighten up going out of the gates when it was naturally just slowly away to Latorio. I thought his effort was still reasonable, getting into as close as what he did over the concluding stages.
Just one thing before we go, Graham. That was Danehill's 89th Group 1 winner. Now, poor old bloke's been dead for quite some time now. I don't think he's going to get to 90. I think his youngest horses are now 7 years old, so I can't see a 7-year-old there about to break his maiden in a Group 1. But, it's an incredible effort, isn't it? 89 Group 1 winners worldwide for Danehill.
All right.